Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Flintlocks and Fireballs, where a handful of mad actors will attempt to navigate the tricky waters of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm your host and Dungeon Master, Jason Phelps, and I'm joined here by a selection of fine actors. We'll go in alphabetical order, so let's start with Robbie Bellicom.
Hello, I'm Robbie. I'm an actor and puppeteer and improviser. Currently a full-time owl, which is a lot of fun. I've been playing role-playing games for 7 years and had the books substantially longer, but was a nerdy child with not enough friends.
Excellent. Next up on our roster, we have Sam Burns.
Hi, I'm Sam Burns. I'm an actor and audiobook narrator, also co-founder of the company Circle of Spears, which incidentally was named after the adventuring party in the first game of D&D that I ever ran.
And finally, Ellie Sparrow.
Hello, I'm Ellie Sparrow. I'm an actor and a playwright, co-founder of the theatre company Break the Verse, who just had our first Arts Council funded show on last year, and are about to do our next one, which involves a dead dog, an old woman on LSD, and a grown man in a Buzz Lightyear costume. I started role-playing because Jason made me. I thought the whole thing was going to be extremely lame, and I was like, I'll do it once for you. But actually, it was incredible, and we're here about 4 or 5 years later, and I'm still doing it. So,
and I am Jason Phelps, voice and stage actor. I started an escape game company called Inkwell Investigations, which does murder mystery time travel themed games. And I have been a dungeon master for more than half my life, which does not make me feel as old as it should. So,
it's a long time.
Indeed. Here is the part where, in the future, we might cut in with the aid of future Jason, future Ellie, future Sam, or future Robs, to impart some special announcements about what's happening at the time the podcast is released. Hello, it's future Jason with announcements from the present. Wrap your mind around that. We have no other announcements except than to say welcome. Whether you're joining us here as the first episode is going live, or a dozen episodes in the future, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoy the ride.
Well, that
was some amazing messages, or an awkward silence. Either way, I think we're about ready to begin. So, with that, let's start the actual role-playing.
Okay.
Everyone got your dice, got your pens, paper, pencils. Pencils more urgently than pens, probably.
Yes.
Rubbers as well. Okay, have we all got ridiculous numbers of dice, or at least our
Oh God, yes.
I have a fair few dice, but not as many as Robbie. Robbie has a problem.
I do not have a
Go to Dice
problem. I have a collection.
You do.
It's a collection, not a problem.
It's a collection that covers half of your table, mate.
Like I said the other day, there are people who have dice problems, and then there are just other people who don't think it's a problem.
I had to buy a new dice bag.
That's still not a problem.
Excellent.
All right then. In that case, it's time for Flintlocks and Fireballs. Our land stands on the sabre's edge.
Our cities are a powder keg.
Brother chains brother, no one's free. A life on land is short, you'll see. So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.
It is the 7th of Falling Leaves, 1797 by the Regency calendar. In the world of Calcinea, on the continent of Jova, in a little Wendish port on the Dragon Coast, by the name of Scarrel's Cove, our tale begins. The age of sword and bow has begun to close. The age of steam is not yet come. Wars are fought by horse and musket, by spell and cannon. Feudal barons have been eclipsed by monarchs whose power has grown absolute. New empires carve power by trade and sale, built on the blood of slaves stolen from their homelands, and the hope of settlers fleeing the persecution of an ancient and powerful church. The foundations of the old regimes are showing their cracks, chafing against the ideals of a new enlightenment, the rhetoric of liberty, of equality, of brotherhood amongst all races and classes alike. But in Scorrel's Cove, the tide of change is not so strong. A cool wind blows in across the sea, unsettling the balmy late autumn weather and speaking of the winter to come. The scent of salt and fresh fish are strong in this seaside town, as well as the ever-present smell of fresh-cut hemp from the fields that grow along the shore. Gulls cry overhead, fighting to snatch fresh catches from the first few fishing boats returning from the bay. The sky burns a deep rose red above the watchful eye of the setting sun. And the dockers and stevedores are busy lifting the last crates and barrels of their shifts and heading, as all thirsty folk do, to the pub. The pub, in this case, is the Boatswain's Arms, so marked by the painted sign outside, bearing the image of a pair of crossed, tattooed, and rather burly arms, respectively holding a beer mug and a whip. The tavern is solidly packed by a mixture of locals and sailors from the ships currently put into port. There's a raucous atmosphere to the place, as men and women are engaged in gambling, arm wrestling, furious argument, and, of course, getting themselves pissed drunk. The publican, his barmaid, and his barboy are all off their feet, serving drinks and food, and space is hard to come by. In one corner booth, just wide enough to cram in 3 souls with enough elbow room to reach their drinks, are a trio of sailors. One is a female human, fair skin tanned by long days at sea, and black and white hair tied back in a tail. Another is a halfling woman, with the scarred hands of a carpenter, and blonde hair cut in a pixie style. And the third is a halfling man. Corzin, would you like to describe yourself?
Yeah. So, I've got my tricorn on. It's seen better days, to be honest. I've got a waistcoat and a little bit of a sash around my waist, but actually it's still unseasonably warm this time of year. So just that and pantaloons. Got some old but well cared for jack boots, and the thing you probably notice about him is, even for a halfling, he's on the short side. He's barely 3 foot, on a good day. And he has a sandy-coloured hair, tan skin, and brown eyes. Quite piercing.
Well, so, you are currently sat in the Boatswain's Arms with 2 of your companions. Of course, you know the ship's carpenter, Watcher Wheels, the halfling woman, and Seaman Salts, who is the human woman. At this point...
It's not funny.
Oh, yes.
Not funny, it's fine.
Her first name is Pepper. So, Seaman Salts is slightly bent over and making groaning sounds. Oh, I think I might have overdone it at lunch. She is clapped heavily on the back by Carpenter Wheels. I'll say that's the case. You're a daft sod. You might be able to drink me under the table, but you can't take your curries, can you? She's looking a bit worse for the wear. What do you reckon, Corzin?
Well, I've heard in this part of the world, live food's something of a delicacy. Maybe it just doesn't agree with her.
I think I don't agree with it either. I tell you what, how about I take you back to your bunk, Salts? You going to be alright here on your own for a bit, Corzin?
Yeah, it should be fine.
Alright. "Oh, come on, you big lug!" And she kind of drags the woman, who is twice her height, bearing in mind that Watcher is also has 4 inches on you, out of the booth, leaving a couple of seats free next to you. The pair of them stagger unsteadily towards the door, which happens to swing open just as they approach it, letting in just a bit of a whiff of cold air and seaside smell. In through the door, deftly stepping to the side to avoid being stumbled into and also vomited upon by the desperately unwell seaman salts, is a hooded dwarf who furtively steps into the room. Scamp, would you please like to describe what Corzin sees?
Well, it looks like a dwarf, right height, hooded, hood very down low. You can see a big, bushy silver beard, slightly misshapen hood, possibly a helmet or hair under there, but keeping the hood down low, cloak to the floor, not really anything much to notice.
Okay. As you make your way, I'm actually going to say, first of all, Corzin, you happen to be glancing this way as the door opens, and I'd like you to make an insight check for me, please.
Alright.
Do I get to make a deception check?
Yes, you do. Although this is actually about something else.
Oh my god, are these our first dice rolls?
Yes.
Can we take a second?
Yes, okay, so actually, yeah, can I have the deception check first, please?
Oh, that's really bad.
Okay, for insight, if that's what you want, 19.
That's a 9 for deception.
Oh
gosh.
Right, okay.
I rolled a 2!
It's not working the best. Okay, Corzin, you notice there's a couple of weird things about this dwarf. One stands out more than the others, but the first things you kind of notice as you're trying to figure out what's bugging you about him, her, you can't really tell, about them, is that they've got they look like they might have either they've got a helmet under that under their hood, or they have done their hair up in cinnamon buns, but which you'd normally associate with a female dwarf, but they don't have the beard jewellery that you'd expect in a female dwarf. So you're a little bit confused. They're also kind of thin for a dwarf. Like usually you've met a few dwarves in your time. They're usually pretty broad-shouldered, whereas this particular dwarf is kind of rail thin. There's something very odd about the way that they move as well. You can't quite put your finger on it, and it takes you a moment before you realise they are in the foreground in a way that you've never noticed anyone else be before. It's not that they stand out that much compared to the rest of the clientele. You know, this town does have a few dwarves living in it at various points, but they seem present in a way, like they're painted in slightly brighter colours to you, and you don't know why that is. But for some reason, something about them, something inherent to them, stands out to you. As you... over to you, Scamp, however. Moving in from the cold, you think you've managed to lose the figure that you're pretty sure was trailing you. So this seems... you've been to this pub before. It's a good place to lie low. And great news, it is packed tonight. That said, you're not entirely sure it's quite safe for you to head back out into the streets yet. What would you like to do?
I'm going to have a look around, see the only empty seat, and head over there, keeping my head down low.
Okay. There's only 2 empty seats in one booth, and you going to make your way towards kind of very, very bit of a swarthy-looking, definitely a sailor, judging from the cut of their jib.
I'm going to sort of nod at him and go, "Can I sit here?"
Well, if you don't mind being moved on in a couple of minutes when my
it's fine,
shipmates get back.
Fine.
Okay.
Fine.
Yes, no, but you were right for a moment.
Okay. I sit down.
Yeah.
Okay. one of the barmaid comes over. A young human woman, looks to be maybe in her late teens or so, has quite dark sort of hair verging on black, and you can tell there's definitely a resemblance to the barkeep. You have Scamp. You have met or at least seen the barkeep himself before, Gerhardt. This looks to be maybe his daughter. I'm not really sure. When she comes in, she comes over. So, what'll you be having? Looks expectantly at the pair of you, seeing that. Actually, would you have finished your drink by now, cousin?
Actually, you know what? I think he would have done.
Yeah.
He'd probably be asking for another of the, reasonably priced ale that he had.
Yeah, okay. Corson is ready to party, apparently.
Right. Alright, so that'll be another mug of ale for you, sailor. For you, sorry, and for you.
Milk, please.
She gives you a bit of a raised eyebrow. All right, that'll be that'll be 4 copper pieces for the ale and 2 copper for the milk. I'll bring them right round.
I pass her 5 and say, keep them coming.
All right, will do. She sails off in the direction of the bar. And you can see Gerhardt himself, a tall human man with... he's actually bald, but he has a shock of white and a big bushy black beard. Is busy polishing glassware and seems to nod at the offer and turn to pour a drink. As Gerhardt is busy pouring the drink, the door opens once again. And in steps a quite an outlandish looking figure for this area. Celestia, would you like to describe yourself?
So I am a 6'4" drow elf. My skin is sort of so dark grey it's almost like ash coloured. My eyes are a very, very pale blue, to the point where if you look at them quickly they're almost white. I have this big shock of white hair that's sort of standing up, all on end kind of thing. It's straight, but it's like a big dandelion of white hair. And I've got a sort of little purple bandana tied around my head in a sort of pop star kind of style. I have very, very outlandish clothes, lots of silver braid all over them, too much silver braid on the trousers to the point where they're almost completely silver and entirely too tight for the period that we're in. And many, many little wristbands, jewellery. I'm just decked out, basically. So I sort of sweep the door open and just bundle myself into the room. As though I'm expecting an applause. Oh my god, I make a performance check for opening a door. Wow. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. Oh, that's not bad, actually. That's 22.
Quite a few eyes turn to you as you step in, but there's a couple of sort of appreciative glances of, oh, right.
I just stand there and just look fucking amazing.
I lean over to my new friend and go, oh, looks like the entertainment's here.
Yeah, I'm going to say, actually, on the subject of this, there's... one of the people who's less impressed is the barmaid, who moves over to you on her way back with Corzin's ale and Scamp's milk. Says, "Oh, very fancy. What'll you be having?"
I will take one of your finest whiskies, please. You wouldn't be happening to look for an entertainment act around here, would you?
Well, you certainly look the part. I could have a word with my pal, see if anyone's in the mood. Certainly the place is packed enough. Alright, well, no offence, but I won't start a tab with you yet. It'll be a silver piece for the shot of whiskey, and we'll see what you can do from there. But there's a space over by the hearth if you want to... what are those instruments you've got?
I've got a guitar, a xylophone, an ophicleide, and a drum, my darling.
For those less familiar with...
It's a one-man band.
Yeah, with
Basically, I'm a one-man band.
An ophicleide is somewhere between a clarinet and a tuba. And a saxophone, I should say.
It's more like a tuba.
Yeah, more like a tuba.
It's really, offensively big.
Yeah.
It's not practical. It's also, I'm just imagining that I've got all these, strapped to myself at various locations. I only just got through the door.
As the barmaid, Sandra, maybe a quick note that barmaid. As Sandra, the barmaid, not that she's introduced herself at all, happens to swing by to deliver the pairs of drinks. The pair of drinks, I should say. The respective individuals kind of catch a glimpse of each other. Your eye is drawn towards these two figures. For a couple of reasons. One, it's the only seat in the house. The other is that they stand out for very different reasons to you. The dwarf is weird.
Do my feet touch the ground, by the way?
Do either of their feet touch the ground?
Corzens definitely don't.
Corzen is like the size of a coffee table. That is unsurprising.
4'10". I'm quite short.
Yeah, you're quite
Corzens
short.
almost don't reach the edge of the seat.
I'd say your feet just dangle over the top.
So I'm probably
there are
struggling to keep the
dwarf-sized
cloak around me.
Yeah, there are dwarf-sized tables, but they're all full with dwarves and halflings at the moment. So
Corzen, you literally come up to my waist. It's ridiculous.
So
there's a whole extra person that could be.
You're adorable.
Making
I
up
am over two of you.
Yeah, you are what, 6'4"?
I'm 6'4".
Right, so conglomerately, we are as tall as you.
Just about.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Okay, so as you go on, so you notice, first of all, the dwarf looks a bit weird. Something about how they're dressed. They seem to have maybe cinnamon buns or a helmet under their hood, but also they seem present in a strange way. You've not really seen anyone that looks this present before, but again, there's something that seems to push them into the foreground that you don't quite understand. But the figure next to them, you can just see little flashes of colour and shape just around their shoulders. 3 of them. And as they turn and move, they're not real full images, but you just get for a moment the impression of a turning fin, a flash of silvery scales, a gimlet eye. Corzin, when you look over at the newcomer, apart from the very dazzling clothing and the distressing number of instruments that she has strapped to her, you can see that there are little flashes of colour and movement around her. You can see just there's almost like something which for a moment shows up as a streak of purple in her white hair before it's gone. A pair of little streams of what put you in mind of sound that seemed to flicker off her shoulders, reminiscent of a cape. And one more that just seems to give you the glint of silver rolling around one of her wrists. And yeah, as is the way for both of you when you see these things, they're not there all the time, but when you first see them, you can see them in a way that the vast majority of people can't. Scamp, you can't see any of this.
Do I know what these are? Are these
yes,
familiar?
Yeah, these are familiar to both of you.
Right.
Corzin, you recognise these, and so do you. You recognise that these are household spirits, small, not very powerful spirits. They're usually found just hanging around hearths or wandering the world. They don't have a lot of power to do things, but they do sometimes follow people around when they're interested in them, or they often follow clerics around as well. You know for a fact, Corzin, that some of these have, a handful of these have been following you for what, 2 of the 3 of them have been following you for a few months, and the third one just seemed to pick up and start following you today.
Right.
Whereas these, for you, Celestia, are the ones that came with you from home.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, for seeing this it's very unusual to see someone flanked by spirits in this way, but it's not something you haven't seen before.
Okay, I mean, I'm going to go over.
Sandra, did you pay the silver piece to Sandra?
Yeah, I'm actually not sure how many gold we're doing to a silver and stuff. 10.
Yeah,
Cool.
just decimalization. I'm not
I meant
doing...
to ask, and then more interesting things happened.
Yeah, that's fine. Decimalization. I'm not doing actual British currency, which
Fantastic.
is base 20, base 12.
Why?
That's distressing.
Literally because the Romans did it. No other reason.
Screw the Romans.
Stupid Romans.
But I'm not going to get into a discussion of numismatics right now. Numismatics? I can't remember the name. Okay, so numismatrix. There we go. Right, so you wander over to the one remaining seat in the house.
I sit down. I don't ask, and I look over at the dwarf with the beard, and I go, "Nice buns."
I'm just sort of fiddling with my cloak, trying to keep it shut fully.
Okay.
The buns, what you've done with your hair, I like it. Suits you.
Thanks.
And I look at the halfling, and I go, "Nice fish." I look pointedly at his shoulders, like where the little fish spirits are.
I sort of self-consciously put my hand up to my shoulder, and I assume that if I were to reach out and try and touch one of these things, my hand would just go straight through.
Oh yeah, it goes straight through it. They don't have solid physical presence.
Alright, then it's just sort of a reflexive thing of like, yeah, I'm aware it's there. It's like when you're aware that someone is giving great scrutiny to anything that you happen to be wearing, or you know,
like if someone goes, "Oh, your shirt's undone" or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Sandra moves back round, bringing you a small tumbler filled with whiskey. Looks from the smell of it, seems like a halfling brew.
Okay.
Rather than the dwarven stuff, because you need to have your throat still.
Yeah, fair.
There's a definite difference between dwarven whiskey and halfling whiskey.
I'm just sort of staring
notably
at my
about
milk.
40%.
I'm trying to work out how to pick up the milk and drink through a beard without, showing my hands or anything like that.
It's the time you really wish you had gloves.
Yeah, I'm just staring at the milk.
Do I get an insight check?
This is true. Yeah, make an insight check now that you're interacting
it's
directly with them.
Not gonna work because I'm not very insightful. Oh shit! It's a natural 20. First natural 20 of the game, guys.
Yeah,
There you go.
I've been a bit cagey with it, but yeah, this there's too many. You notice all the things that Coulson did, and kind of think this just isn't a dwarf.
Oh, do I know what it is, or like is it just not a dwarf?
Nope. You know that you like they're pretty covered up, but you know that like looking at it, that you're pretty sure that beard is fake.
Yeah, it's held on with it's held on with twine. You can probably see the twine if you look close
just
enough.
make
Oh my
out the
god,
twine.
amazing. Okay, I'm super intrigued. I'm gonna put my hand out to both of them, like sort of in a big big presenting motion, and go, "Celestia Stardust, good to make your acquaintance." And just wait for one of them to shake it. Just leave my hand there.
Corzin sort of reaches out slightly awkwardly and goes, "Corzin Horhace."
Nice to make your acquaintance. And you, what's your name?
Scamp. Scamp.
Just Scamp?
I've gone too far.
No surname. Like, is that a nickname? What is that?
It's my name. It's my name.
Ah, you got a little tickle in your throat there, Scamp. Are you okay? Do you need to perhaps drink some of your milk?
I'm going to try and drink the milk without pulling my hands out of my throat.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Because I'm so dexterous. Oh, fucking hell. Well, that's one of our sleight of hand. Oh, I actually have that. That's a 23. Yeah, look at me being dexterous.
Yeah,
Yes.
with impressive skill, Scamp managed to wrap their hands up in their cloak without opening the front of the cloak. Pick up the glass of milk and just knock it back through a little gap in the beard, which is kind of lifting the moustache up a bit. And you managed to drink your milk.
Down in one.
Achievement.
Yeah, you don't even get any in the beard. This is clearly a skill that dwarves learn at a young age. When their first
Corzin
whiskers are coming through.
Amazing. Okay.
Corzin says, "It's weird. I've seen a lot of things, but I have never seen a dwarf that's on the wagon."
Yeah, I've never seen a dwarf drink milk. Well, do you have a reason for this? Problems with alcohol, broken home, drama? Tell me of your dramas. Tell me anything about yourself.
No drama. I like milk. What's wrong with milk? Milk's good.
No, I'm not judging. It's just not usually the usual dwarven poison, that's all. They usually prefer the sort of stuff you use to clean cannons with.
Yeah, dwarves are usually a lot more, drinking very, very hard things that could...
Scamp is
take
getting
the roof of your mouth
super
off, aren't
fidgety.
they?
Scamp's getting really fidgety now.
Actually, what are you drinking?
Kicking their
halfling?
legs.
What was your name? Corzin?
Yeah, Corzin.
What are you drinking? Is that ale?
Well, it's allegedly ale, or what passes for it in this port.
I thought you all drank
Let's roll a
cider.
luck check here. Oh yeah, no, it's definitely something that passes for it.
It might be it. It might have one point been ale.
It's passing for ale. Barley went into this at some point.
Yeah,
This is.
I've got a feeling it's not so much...
Bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, and if we're lucky, it's the first time it's been at the bottom of the barrel.
I thought you all drank cider. Aren't you all farmers or something?
You see his knuckles clench ever so slightly on the tankard.
That's a genuine question. I don't think I've ever met a halfling before.
Well, not a free one.
Well, let me put it to you this way, love.
Yes. I lean forwards.
The whole farmer thing, I wouldn't mention that again unless you want to upset the apple cart.
Oh, is that something halflings are most afraid of? Their apple carts being upset?
Scamp's giggling. Really high-pitched
farmers.
giggling.
Okay, I'm going to roll just a straight strength check here to see if I end up crushing the mug.
Oh, do, please.
Oh, God!
Oh, that's really good. That's a 22.
Okay, this is a clay mug, and it just splinters. You managed to do it in such a way that you don't get any splintered bits of ceramic in your skin either. There's just a crack, and then and the remains of the ale are just all over the table. Quite a few heads turn at this point.
So what you're saying is I've just watched a 2.5 foot tall man crush a clay mug with his bare hands.
Yes, a mug which is larger than his hand.
Holy shit.
And,
I lean back from where I was leaning
I
from.
yelp really loudly. He's like, ah!
Coulson is as taken aback by this as anybody else and goes, bugger it. And sort of
I click my fingers. Excuse me, can I get another drink for my friend over here, please?
Make
another round for everyone.
Oh wow, yeah, clapping your hands as well. Make a diplomacy check.
Oh, everyone's gonna hate me. Help. What is a diplomacy check? What is
sorry,
that
not
just
diplomacy.
charisma?
Persuasion.
Cool.
Wrong edition.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually. So that is a 24.
Okay, impressively, Sandra responds to your clicking of the fingers without at least being overtly offended by it, and yeah, it's just like, just apparently seeking to take you for some member of elven nobility or something, just from the way you're acting. It's like, yeah. Oh yes, yes, of course. Bloody hell! What happened? Yes.
There was just a misunderstanding. Don't worry.
Right.
Just an accident. Clumsy moment.
Another ale, another milk, another whiskey.
Yes, please.
Right. Well, why don't we just he looks around. Why don't we just call that even silver and a half?
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Let's not. Well, don't worry about the mug. She kind of looks over to the bar boy, who looks like a maybe 14-year-old human boy, probably again looking related. Ben, clean this up, would you? And then scurries off to get to fetch you fresh drinks.
When he comes over, calls and says, "Are you old enough to be working in here?"
Ben looks up at you, kind of says, "Aye, I've been working here since I was 8, so maybe you should have asked that 6 years ago."
Fair point. I'm just saying, our cabin boy's probably got a couple of years on you.
Mm-hmm. Well, why? Are you looking to replace him? Kind of glares daggers over at Sandra. Son, because not that I don't like my sister, but I wouldn't say no to her being carried away to sea.
Oh right, well, you seek an adventure then, are you?
Well, for her, certainly.
Oh, so.
Well,
yeah, over the bar, you see Sandra call back, "Get a move on!" Right. He gets a cloth and starts mopping up the ale, collecting the fragments of broken cup.
So, am I to take it from your breaking of the mug that was a bad thing to say?
Depends what the circumstances is. If it's your head getting kicked in you're looking for, then that's absolutely the thing you'd be wanting to be doing.
I'm not from round here.
Really? Oh, it's the hair. It's a dead giveaway.
Right.
So, it's about this point that Sandra returns with the new drinks, quickly setting a new whiskey, new milk, and with a slightly shaking hand, a new ale in front of you. Looking at it, this one looks a bit better than the previous ale she sent you. It's looking a bit less cloudy. You think this might be from a new barrel.
Okay. I'm going to attempt to have a sip of it.
Oh, she takes them very gratefully. Oh, thank you very much.
Okay. After having a sip, do I detect any difference?
Yeah. This is better. Like, it's not great. It's not. This is clearly human brewed ale, not halfling brewed. But it's at least acceptable.
All right. He says, Well, this is certainly an improvement. So I think we were about even there.
Glad to hear it. So, what brought you both to the town? Tell me everything. I want to hear of your lives.
Olivia.
Or you can tell me anything you like.
Olivia.
You live here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to try and drink my milk again.
Okay, I'm gonna say you can effectively take 20 on this. You've done it once. You can do it. That was such a good check. You don't need to. You just sort of deftly repeat the same mustache lifting motion.
As if you're rolling to drink milk. It's ridiculous.
As the as the question is sort of hanging in the air, the door opens once again. This time with a much louder sort of bang. And you see 5 figures enter. Mm-hmm. They all look. Some of them look like. I'd say 4 of them look like dock workers. They have calloused hands. They're quite heavily built men and women. They're used to lifting crates and bales all day. The one in front, however, who seems to be leading the group, has. He looks like he used to do a lot of hard labour, but maybe has gone to seed in more recent years. He's a middle-aged looking human. He's got kind of slightly tanned, reddish skin, blonde curly hair, and blue eyes. And one of the eyes is kind of lazy, like it's like the lid is slightly down.
Do I see him?
Oh yeah, you see him.
Okay, I'm taking off my cloak immediately.
I was going to say okay because I was going to roll check to see whether.
No,
he
as soon as I see him, the cloak's coming off.
Okay, yeah. The cloak is coming off. You are okay, right?
I'm not a dwarf. I'm not a dwarf. I was never a dwarf.
Okay, right. You see as this figure comes in, and I'll describe. Yeah, as this figure comes in, just the moment that Scamp sees this figure arrive, they sort of sink back into the chair and just pull open the hood, pull the hood down, and get the cloak down. What do they see?
Okay, so not a dwarf.
Okay.
Bright pink skin.
Okay.
Pair of ram-like horns. Silver hair, so the beard at least would have matched. Like snub nose, freckles, big, almost goat-like ears with little tufts of hair on the end. Probably not more than 14. Probably not less than 12 years old. Somewhere.
Oh my god.
Bright pink eyes.
I'm
They're
gonna
pupilless and little fangs. Just little fangs.
Corzin looks you up and down and goes, well, that explains the milk.
I'm going to say make a quick stealth check, Scamp, to just make yourself kind of pull in and try not to attract attention.
That's not terrible. Stealth 17.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm just breathing really heavily.
That's good enough. You're pretty sure no one you managed to pull this off quickly enough and for just long enough that no one really notices you. That everyone's too busy looking at the figure who's just come in. He's dressed in reasonably well-to-do clothing. Yeah, not really high class, but he looks like a well-off tradesman. And as he comes in, he just immediately commands the attention of the room. Right, you all know me. That's right, Golder Spoon. I'm sure a few of you folk work for me as well. So, I want to make it clear. Some fucking short-arsed little prick stole my wedding ring.
Shit!
Now, I want to make it clear that while I may have had a word or two with Watch Captain Aranor about this, maybe I'm looking forward to a bit of individual enterprise in this matter, since I know that this can get good results. So I want to make it clear. The fella who nicked this ring off me is a dwarf, thin-looking fella, silver beard. Now, if I get that ring back, I am willing to pay, as a result of my largesse, 50 gold crowns for that ring. And I'll pay another 50 gold crowns if that dwarf is taught a fucking lesson. Kind of looks around the room. Right, you all know where to find me. I just want to make it clear. Bounty's standing until someone cashes it in. Kind of gives a nod to these barmen. Turns about, and he and the 4 dockers just march straight out.
Oh.
I mean, I assume we're all on board with this. We don't have to roll checks to like.
No. You can put 2 and 2 together.
We're not dumb. Well,
You do realise who you've just pissed off?
No! Who's that?
Someone seems to be in a spot of bother, don't
I
they?
didn't know it was a wedding ring! It's a ring!
Roll, I'm going to say Corzin, just roll a charisma check, just for the sake of who you might talk to about in town.
Charisma check. Okay.
Or actually, no, we can make this an investigation check, because it would have been more a case of what information you picked up while you were here.
I'm new, so I wouldn't know anything.
You wouldn't know this.
I've just come here today.
You just arrived in town.
That's 13.
Okay. Yeah, you think you've you haven't seen the guy himself. I mean, maybe once or twice, just in passing around the docks. But you've heard the name, and you know that Mr. Spoon is the head of the Rope Makers Guild here in town. And given how central the rope making business is to Squirrel's Cove in particular, it being famed for the quality of its rope, he's a pretty big deal.
So, how much of a problem have you got yourself?
I don't know.
Is he a big deal around here? Like, does everyone know him? Is he huge? Do you need me to sweet talk him for you?
I'm not sure that'd work.
No, I just... Oh, balls.
Do you still have it?
Yes, but I need it.
What for?
I don't know, I just need it. Sometimes
Oh,
I need
like that,
things.
is it?
Sometimes there are things I need, and stuff happens if I have the things, but if I don't have it, stuff doesn't happen, and that's really boring. And then I'll have to find another one, and that could just make things worse.
Well, I think that you're going to have bigger problems on your hands before too long if you don't find a way of placating him somehow.
I mean, it depends how afraid you are of being bored, really, I suppose.
Weird things happen
you-
when I get bored.
Okay. Like what?
There was this weird sound of drums, I zapped someone once, that wasn't supposed to happen.
You zapped someone.
Yeah. But
Like-
if I have stuff, it doesn't happen
like
unless I
lightning
want it
zap?
to. Yes, like that. But if I have the stuff, it doesn't happen unless I want it to.
Okay, maybe you keep the ring.
Or possibly use it to buy a lightning rod.
I did find a treasure map once.
Treasure map?
His ears prick up at this. Really? Where was that to then?
I don't know.
You never found out?
No.
Do you still have it?
Yep.
Well, I've
Why didn't you follow it?
I don't know where it
There's
goes.
treasure.
It's not here. It's like a picture of somewhere else. I mean, it's a map. It's not a map of here.
I've sailed round a bit. Give it here. I'll have a look.
Mine.
Can I have a look? I try and reach for it. I try and take it.
Are you just going to try and grab it?
Yeah, I'm literally going to try and grab it.
Okay. Are you going to let her?
No.
Okay.
I'm very big. Let's have a go.
I'm going to call this an opposed. I'm going to call this an opposed acrobatics check.
Oh,
I'm good at that, yes.
I'm not.
Oh, no, I'm not. Never mind, that's a 10.
Oh, it might
Always
be enough.
awake.
Or where's my modifier gone? That's a 9.
Oh,
yes.
you are just not quite fast enough, and because did you actually have it in your hand? Just the important
Yeah,
thing.
in a bottle.
Yeah, you
It's,
actually just sort
it's
of-
in a glass bottle.
Yeah, so you immediately just sort of neatly pull out of her hands before she can react. Their hands before they can react. A kind of mid-sized old wine bottle, empty. There is a label on it, kind of faded with time, which I believe reads. You can just make out. I think it says the Wizard of Wine's Winery Red Dragon Crush.
Incredible. I'm sad it's empty.
Yeah, but stuffed into it, beneath the cork, there is a old scrap of. Actually, looking at it, it's not paper. It appears to be parchment.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it out.
Okay.
Look at it.
Unrolling it. Do you unroll it flat on the table so everyone can see, or just so you
Yes.
can see? Okay, you can see there's the outline of an island. It looks like there's some wood. There you can see pictures of trees, some hills on it, and a big X at one point. I'm going to say probably Corzin and only Corzin. Roll a history check for me, please.
Alright. That's a natural 1 then.
Ha.
you're pretty sure. Yes. Okay.
It's definitely a map. Definitely a map.
It's for. It's definitely a map. You think that this might be the island of Grayscale in the Draconic Archipelago. You're not sure. There's some like, because you definitely remember there's definitely a town on Grayscale which isn't on this map. Maybe it's an older map. It might be worth taking to a cartographer or someone, or just to an experienced navigator to get a second opinion on it. But you're pretty sure.
Well, I do have navigator's tools.
Actually, that's the point. Would you? No, sorry. I would have let you apply the proficiency bonus for that previous check, but it was a natural one, so you just...
No, it's...
A one's a one.
Yeah, you'll...
I was going to say, would it be wisdom or dexterity that I was applying for the navigator's
Oh, that would be
tool?
definitely wisdom.
Right, yeah, okay, fine. Yeah. That would have made it a 3, but
that
I
would
don't
still-
suppose that's going to make very
I'm going to
much
say,
difference.
okay, like, no, natural one, you're
No,
reasonably
no.
sure it's Grayscale.
No. Yeah.
But which is good, because that is somewhere you've been. The bad news is that Grayscale is kind of on the outer edges of the Draconic Archipelago. Around 800 miles away?
Wow.
Yeah.
And you would definitely need to get there by ship.
I ask, Scamp, where was it that you came across this map?
It was in a bottle. Give it back! It's mine.
Right, well that makes vague sense. That right there, that's like 800 nautical miles away. So you ain't getting there anytime soon.
So, it's mine. I'm going to try and
Oh,
grab
no,
it
Going
no,
back.
no.
to use it?
I want to grab the map. Pull it
Okay,
back.
do you stop her or them, him? You're still not sure, like what exactly this strange little demon child is.
Yeah, I hold it behind my back.
Okay, another opposed acrobatics check, please.
Yeah.
I just pick it up off the table and just put it behind my back.
Oh, 9!
Oh, it's good. 22.
Okay, 22. No, you just behind your back. You can grab the bottle if you want.
I'm going to stand on my chair and say, give it back, but use thaumaturgy to make my voice all creepy and echo in whispers.
Okay.
And my
I'm
eyes
gonna
go all
say
glowy.
Okay, you make an intimidation check with advantage because you're using thaumaturgy. I'd like you to make a I think this would be a wisdom saving
Oh,
throw.
I'm so wise, so that's
21!
good. Shit balls. Shut up. Oh, that's 11. I'm
Okay.
terrified.
I can't. Yeah, you are intimidated.
Damn.
It's like yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to give it back, but certainly oh shit.
I am intimidated, but I go no and use minor illusion to do some cymbal crashes around the nose. So it goes no.
Okay. At this point, I'm going to say, Corzin, you notice that people are starting to look over your way at the sudden the increase in sounds and crashes, and let's see if anyone's noticed the demon child. They don't seem to have noticed Scamp yet, but you get the feeling that it can't be that long. Fortunately, for the moment, Celestia's outlandish garb is kind of drawing attention.
Tell me why you disguise yourself and I'll give it back.
It's like, I say, ladies, gentlemen, whatever the bloody hell you are, can we simmer down right now?
I'm going to cast Friends.
On me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think that is a wisdom saving throw as well.
No, it just gives me advantage on.
Oh, just straight up
charisma
advantage.
checks.
Okay. Yeah. In which case, I'll let you make the intimidation check again.
No,
if you want,
I'm going to
or-
try persuasion this time.
Okay, try
Just go,
persuasion then.
please. It's one of the
Okay.
only things I've got.
Insight
Oh, that's
check.
shit. 16.
Okay, so
Yeah. Just
but it
make an
doesn't
insight check.
insight. Okay. Oh, that would be A1. Not
You kinda look
natural,
at-
but you know.
still one. Yeah. yeah, this child, this probably is one of the very
She's
few
adorable.
things they have.
Yeah.
Like, you do feel a bit bad just taking what is essentially this child's only possession.
I was going to give it back. I just wanted some answers. I say as I hand it over.
Then ask nicely. I stick my tongue out.
Yeah. You quickly roll up the scroll, stuff it back in the bottle, and pocket it again. I'm going to say that this situation has calmed down enough that you're able to get back down into the booth, and as far as you know, no one has noted your presence yet. However, a few people are looking over expectantly at the bard with the various instruments.
Oh, are they literally looking like they want stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to start just tootling away on me offer Clyde.
Okay, are you kind of getting up to the middle of the room to do it, or just from where you are?
Just like... I'm going to sort of like sit on the table and just like drape myself artistically, you know, feet up on something and just play my offer Clyde. And I'm going to use minor illusion for some backing vocals. So there's just like these backing vocals going... Ooh, la, 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 whilst I just start like tootling away. And I'm going to cast as well every so often. I'm going to do, because I can do dancing lights, I'm going to do little dancing lights, just like, you know, popping up and disappearing like to the rhythm of whatever tune I'm playing. I'm having a lovely time.
Just so you know, in about 40 seconds you'll know I cast friends on you and you'll be angry about it.
About 40
Right now I quite like
into
you.
it, like, you know, you're
I'm just
going to
sort of
really
sing
sorry for this
really
child,
low
and
in
then
my
you suddenly
seat.
realise, wait a minute.
Actually, can I roll an insight check to see if I realise what she has done?
You can.
Alright. That's gonna be a 5.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. She could just have managed to win her over with a moment of orphan-style pleading. But then at the same time, the way that the way that about 40 seconds into the performance, Celestia kind of sits up slightly and looks round.
Causing
I kind of
takes
I round
swig
off the
of
song
ale.
a bit quicker than I'd intended, and then I turn to her and I use vicious mockery, and and I say, "Did you fucking cast a spell on me?"
Okay.
Vicious mockery is
It is a wisdom save.
wisdom save, please.
That is a 19.
It's the first
That's
encounter
really
gonna
good.
be
Yeah.
PvP.
Yes, the first encounter is PvP.
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry.
Play this player.
Okay,
And
cool.
check the player's handbook. I think if you make that,
Yeah, you don't get damage.
Yeah, you don't
I
get
think.
damage.
Yeah,
There's
you're
no
all
side
good.
effects. Okay, yeah, you kind of just like you feel this kind of scathing tone coming from her, and the and as you, but you know, like you've had a lot of insults and rough words directed at you over the course of your life scan. Like this isn't so. This you've heard harsher than this. You can kind of shrug it off. That said, Corzin, as Celestia says this, you notice the purple sort of slash in her hair brighten for a moment before disappearing again.
Right. After
I
finishing the
haven't
swig
broken eye
of
contact.
ale,
Yeah.
after finishing the swig of ale, I go, bloody magicians.
Sorry. I didn't mean to. I did mean to, that's a lie.
You did mean to.
I did mean to. You took my map! That's mine!
I took absolutely nothing from you.
I didn't cast anything on you!
You've been nothing but nice. Shall we have another drink and call it square?
Yeah. A minor illusion of flower.
Oh.
As this is going,
That's
you hear
very
someone.
nice.
It looks like a
I get
child.
my xylophone out and start tapping away.
One of the few handful of dwarfs in the room calls out from one of the dwarf tables, which are literally just smaller tables. Hey, do you know the Milkmaid song?
Do I know the Milkmaid song?
Probably
not, I imagine. But like,
roll
do
an intelligence
I?
check on the off chance you do.
Intelligence?
Yeah.
History, right?
Actually, for her, this is the same. That's the same roll.
Yeah, so that's a
15.
16.
Oh yeah, you do actually.
Oh my god, I know the
song.
Milkmaid song.
Yeah, so you
I'm
sing
going
off
to
the
sing the
Milkmaid
Milkmaid
song.
song, but like a styled up version.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play it on my xylophone and like sing at the same time, also backing vocals with minor illusion,
Yeah.
also little dancing lights, as I say, popping up, dancing about.
Yeah.
I make them go into a little figure next to me and like dance along to the milkmaid song. I'm having a lovely time.
Yeah, you sing a merry song about basically cheese theft from milkmaids and various things,
Yeah.
and
Ladies not being able to do up their garters and needing help.
all of that sort of business. And pretty soon, and I'm going to say, make a performance check with advantage because of the
It was a
backing
request.
vocal. Yeah, it was a request. But I'm going to say with the backing vocals, that counts as assistance.
Oh, which dice do I want? That dice. Okay, so that is a 23.
Okay.
It's fucking good.
I'm going to roll this on a d10. You play there's a couple of other requests after this, and after about half an hour of entertainment, it's actually you get quite a few coppers that are sort of placed into your whiskey tumbler. But it comes to a total of 10 silver pieces.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's effectively 1 gold. Excellent.
Yes, you make a gold crown.
Lovely.
Really large amount. You just happen to roll 10 on a d10.
Literally, like, all the money I've already spent, I've just made back. That's amazing.
Yes, you've basically paid for your own drinks. So, the evening is finally starting to wind down a little bit. And, there's... the question starts to rise for each of you of where you're going, what you're doing. By now, Corzin, you'd have expected the others to have returned if they were going to. You get the feeling that Watcher is probably spending time holding Salt's head over a bucket.
And holding her hair, most like.
Yeah.
No.
Or bint. Right.
So where are you two staying?
I don't know. Wherever.
On board my ship.
You have a ship? A whole one?
Well, it's not like I own it,
right.
I just work on it.
Ah, so you're
Yeah.
a sailor. Are you a
For my
pirate?
sins, yeah. He stops for a moment and says, the actual term's privateer, but it's really just a case of who's employing you.
So you're like a nice pirate.
Depends how many times my species has been insulted.
I just like sort of raise my glass and are like, yeah, okay, kind of thing.
I don't think I can ever leave this pub.
He
The
sort of
nice
looks at
man
you
with
like,
the lazy eye
"What?"
wants me dead, I think.
I'm planning on staying here. You could hide in my room if I get one.
To be fair, he probably doesn't want you dead. He probably just wants you severely maimed. But I don't see that's really a comfort for a person in your situation.
No.
Also, he doesn't know you're a tiefling, does he?
That doesn't make things better.
Yeah,
Wear the
but-
cloak for a reason.
Sure, you'll be fine. You've got a pink face. You can go outside without him knowing.
Yeah, but other
when we say
people will
pink,
throw
we
stuff.
mean like cerise pink.
Exactly, the dwarf. You couldn't see that on when you're a dwarf, could you? So surely he won't know.
No, but other people will throw stuff.
No.
Or
But
you're
surely
not,
they won't
not
throw
particularly
things.
well
Surely,
thought of around here.
surely it's worse to be a dwarf, isn't it? I mean, dwarves are sort of useful, like good with money, but why would you hide being a tiefling? I don't understand.
Because people throw rocks.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What? That's very
Not everywhere, but there's some places that are a little bit more open to foreigners, and then there's other places that aren't. You learn this sort of thing when you travel around as much as I have.
I've not travelled a lot.
I haven't travelled at all.
But if you live here,
Yeah.
then are you worried about locals recognising you?
Well, if I put the beard back on now, yeah.
Well, you're obviously and he sort of gestures in vague, magic-y type motions. You're a sort of person. Can't you just, change how you look?
Like a bit, not much. I can, and I make my eyes go like human eyes, but only for a minute, and I've got to really concentrate.
Yeah, I think that's actually worse. So I don't think you should do that as a disguise. I think that makes you stand out.
This
more.
is actually impressively. Scamp has managed to push themselves further into the uncanny valley with the human eyes.
Because oh god, that's
it's not a good
terrifying.
idea.
That's like the eyes of a man in the eyes of a goat.
Oh,
cheers! Thank you.
That wasn't a comparison I needed. I'll be honest. Testia takes a swig of her whiskey.
Right, so I'm the goat. Thanks. I guess I do have these little hoof things.
So yeah, you could. I mean, my music was amazing. They're probably going to let me stay here. You could hide with me if you'd like. I feel like we're even now on the
You're
spells
a
on each other
stranger.
front. Yes, you're a stranger too.
I know,
You
it's
might do
fine.
something terrible to me.
I might zap you in your sleep.
You did say you zapped people. That does concern
Not
me.
on purpose. Well, once on purpose.
But then again, you only zap people when you're bored. I'm really quite a lot of fun.
And
so
if I don't
somehow
have the
that'll happen
things
with
I
me
need,
around.
if I have the things, I'm fine.
But you said you have the thing you need.
I do.
Why a wedding ring?
It's not the ring part. It was the diamond part.
Oh.
Needed a diamond.
Exactly
think.
how nice is this wedding ring?
I don't know. It's a ring. I saw it and I needed it. I didn't know I needed it until I saw it.
I have an idea. How good of a jeweler is this man? Could we replace this stone with, say, a bit of nicely cut glass? And, post it back to him? Is that... Could we fake it? You'd be off the hook, it'd be fine. Then again, he still knows you stole it, doesn't he?
Maybe
So-
we should just leave town forever.
Forever?
Well, I'm only here till tomorrow, but
I mean, I've only just got here, but,
you could always have a word with the captain of the ship, see if he'd be willing to grant you passage to wherever you're planning on going. But
I don't know where to
am I
go.
right in thinking that this would be your first time on board a ship?
I mean, I've worked at the docks before, like as a messenger and stuff, but yeah, I've never been on one.
Right. Well.
Where is your ship headed?
That
might be a difficult question, I'm sorry.
Once, Cousin, you know that the most of the repairs and replenishments have been done to the Charlie's Regret now. So she is set to sail out tomorrow afternoon, all being equal, and basically you don't have a strict destination planned beyond moving on with the hope of trying to find a prize and taking it.
It'd be
privateering,
probably into. We'd probably be moving into Orsinian or Thyronese waters.
You
There's usually
do
good.
recall that the captain had heard. You do recall hearing from the captain, since as ship's surgeon you do actually get to eat at the captain's table, that the Thyronese have recently been pulling a few of their fleets back into their waters. So more likely you will be heading north, keeping to the Dragon Coast, trying to hit Orsinian shipping that's going around the north of the continent.
I divulge this to them because
Basically,
it's
You regale it, yeah.
Back towards the direction of Crosswater and Grayscale.
Okay, good to know. I need to make some inquiries, but there doesn't seem to be a lot for me here. I mean, would your ship be looking for entertainment?
Well, I could have a word with the captain.
Yeah, perhaps. Speaking of which, is there like a notice board in this pub?
Not in this pub... I mean, actually, wait, let's see. There might actually be.
Local notices, that kind of thing.
Okay, yes, there is. That's an extra 20.
Oh, it's a very comprehensive notice board.
It's a pretty comprehensive notice board. And yeah, peering over in the corner, you can see that there is a cork notice board, and it looks like most of the notices are in one set of handwriting. You get the feeling that someone here, either Gerhard or possibly his daughter, is literate. And can write out notices.
How common is literacy? Like, can a lot of people read? Actually, would I know that? I might not.
You know how common literacy is where you come from?
Yeah.
Which is very amongst elves and not very amongst everyone else.
Yeah.
For those of you who lived up on Jova, literacy is in vogue amongst middle classes, standard amongst the upper classes, not common amongst the poor. Because of the life you've led, Corzin, you are literate. Scamp, we discussed the level of literacy you have, which is kind of some-ish. You can work out what something says if you take a run up at it.
Oh.
Because
so you're going to be headbutting this board.
Yeah, your schooling has been scattered, to say the least.
All right.
But yeah, they're like you are all able to read, sort of common the common Jovan tongue, which is various dialects of which are found in the different countries around the continent of Jova. Yeah, essentially common.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, looking over at the notice board, there's a few notices. Actually, the majority of the notices that are up there are postings for people looking for people to do work at the docks, recruitments for ships, people trying to bring on more sailors, or even sometimes because it's as it's just the end of autumn, it seems that you can see there's a lot of torn down or crossed out notices for people seeking day labourers in the flax fields. Those have mostly now been harvested. So it's a bit thin on the ground.
Anything about slaves, that kind of thing?
Yes. Looking through it, you can see that there is one posting which it seems to be a little bit of an advertisement for the local main dealer of slaves in this town. It looks like there's like most of the slaves. It's rare that people bring as it were orphaned slaves, but there is mention that if you have any consignments of slaves that you're looking to trade off, you should visit Hikari Saito, and it gives an address for their shop in town. It seems that
could you say that
Hikari Saito. I'm going to say do a history check just to see if you recognise the name.
History
I mean, not the
check?
name, but the type of name.
Yeah. So that is not very good. I think that's a 14. So awful.
It sounds Dragonborn.
Okay.
But that's about the best you can get. They apparently have a shop in town, probably not open at this time of night, but they're essentially like a broker / accountant for slavers.
Okay. Any other sort of like marks on it? Any crests? Anything saying anything else about slaves and slavers?
This is one of the kind of lower class establishments in town. Like for a fact. Like, for instance, Corzin, you know that the captain and the first mate is actually on duty on the ship, but you know that the captain, some of the other petty officers are off at the Swan, which is a bit of more of a pricier upper class tavern elsewhere in town.
Right.
A few of the common sailors went to the Salty Seaman instead, which is the local brothel.
Oh,
right.
okay.
Who would I speak to if I was going to ask about taking new people on?
Either captain, first mate, or bosun. Probably for captain. First mate is fine. Like,
All right, I've texted you a question.
oh, excellent. I'll respond to that. Yes. I'll just give it a brief pause while I do it.
Yeah, I tell Cousin I'd potentially be looking for passage in return for a few songs.
How many shanties do you know?
How many shanties do I know? Let's do a roll,
Just do another
genuinely.
history check.
Oh, that would be a 4.
Yeah, there's not really that many large bodies of water where you come from.
Bollocks.
By the way, reply to your text.
All right.
Yeah. So there's not that many large bodies of water you come from. You've heard one, and that's about it. You'd have to pick them up. You feel confident that you could pick them up.
Okay, I'm going to say to him, loads.
I could probably.
I know loads of them.
All right. Do I believe her?
Make an insight check.
Should I make a deception
check?
Oh God, come on, that's 7.
No, that's a 2.
That was
That would mean that's a 4 in total.
okay. Yeah,
My 7's better than your 4.
Seems legit.
All right. I turn to Scamp and I say, "You wouldn't happen to know anything about gunpowder, would you?"
Yes! Yes!
Really?
A bit.
Well,
A bit.
he sort of strokes his chin a little bit and says, "You stick with me, and I'll have a word with the first mate, because I think there might be an opening for you. As for you, I think that, provided you were able to muck in between times, the shanty thing will be an appropriate thing. There's our mistress, but she's got many talents, but unfortunately, she's a bit tone deaf."
She sings like a sea cow.
Amazing.
How do they sing?
Badly.
They're so pretty.
Imagine whale song, but without the charm or the majesty.
Aww.
Yeah.
Imagine what a land-based cow would sound like if it was trying to sing opera.
I would like to make a minor illusion of what I think that sound would be like.
Okay.
Just for
I
fun.
would like to join in with that. I will also join in with the minor illusion.
Okay, well, in which case I'm going to need you to duet this. Yeah, the few remaining patrons kind of look over, half expecting a new performance, and now just kind of disconcerted.
Horrified. I think we can be
A couple
friends,
of them stand up and leave.
Coulson kind of goes, "If you want to have any more successful trading here, I suggest you cut that out right now." But yes, that is very accurate.
Yeah, the barmaid is kind of trying to glare daggers at you, but also still a little intimidated. So it's like resentful, sullen.
I love that, the three of us have managed to be intimidating. We're such a weird combination.
Okay, so the evening draws to a close. Given your performance, I will say.
Oh, can I use my by popular demand thing?
Yes,
that
which
alright?
is what is happening now. The barman comes over and introduces himself. Hello,
Celestia Stardust, nice to meet you.
Grimes, and he thrusts out a big meaty hand and shakes it. Well, seems you're pretty popular. Not sure what the cow thing was, but
It was a joke among friends, don't worry.
Ah,
It's not going to be a
right.
regular occurrence.
I'm glad to hear it. Well, we're all booked out in rooms, but we've got some bedrolls. We'll keep the fire lit if you're happy to sleep there for the night.
Fine by me. Do you mind if my little friend here joins me? She won't take up much space. They won't-
Regents! Tits! Oh, it's you. Make a persuasion check.
Oh. God.
Actually, I think we're past that.
Okay, so that's really good, actually. It's a 21.
Right.
Never had a persuasive character before. It's confusing.
Well, since it's... Yeah, right. Kind of
I'll keep her quiet. She'll sit in the corner, you won't even notice her.
Looks a bit suspiciously at you, Scamp. You don't touch anything, right?
I don't touch anything.
Alright. Kind of moves as if, reflexively as if to kind of ruffle your hair, and kind of stops awkwardly at the horns.
Is Corzin still there at this point?
Oh, yeah, you can be.
Alright. I think he'll have had a few more ales over the course of the evening.
I'm going to say that for convenience, Celestia's got a few more tips for other performances, and it's covered your drinks for the evening.
I've just bought drinks.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I totally would.
Yep.
Right. Well,
never refuse if someone else is buying. It's a very, very important life lesson, that. And he turns to Scam and said, "Remember that, right?
Yep.
Never refuse if someone else is buying."
Yep.
Yeah. Some wise words.
You're gonna be all right getting back to your ship. That's right.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Do you need us to walk you there?
No, I should be fine. I remember the way.
You're very small for somebody who's so drunk.
He kind of looks
you might
up at
fall
you.
down a hole and we'll never see you again.
Let's not mar a perfectly pleasant evening otherwise by making small man jokes now, shall we?
As you wish.
Okay. You stumble as the pair of you kind of get given the various bedrolls and such, pulled out of stores and set up near the still burning little bits of the hearth. There's some coal left that you can just sort of toss in through the night as you would want. Corzin.
Yep.
You snort to you make your way back.
Shall we say before we move on, have we arranged to drop in on you the next morning to see if it's okay with your captain? Is that...
Well, that's probably what I would be doing next. I would be going to the ship and seeing.
But
who's
I
on
guess
duty
we'll visit you tomorrow.
Yeah.
You decide either to find the ship or that you'll come back to the tavern in the morning, because you broadly know where the pair of you are going to, the three of you are going to be. So, Corzin, you head out into the streets. It's a bit of a walk from here to the ship. The Boatswain's Arms is on the dock front, but the Chinese Regret is docked kind of on the other end of the dock of the port, so it's about a 10-minute walk to get there.
Right.
And you kind of make your way through, slightly stumbling because of the alcohol you've had. I mean, you've had a fair bit. And kind of there's you're occasionally having to make sure you don't walk into crates or barrels that have been set around.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you to roll a perception check, please.
Perception. Okay. That's going to be an 18.
Okay. There's a few people still walking around, stumbling off to bed or completing very late night tasks. Even though most of the work at the docks does stop with sunset, there's still a little bit going on, and it's a fairly cloudy night. Every now and again, a bit of moonlight filters down, giving a little bit of glimmer to the area, but the torches, because there are simply just lampposts with torches set in them, reliable gas lighting has not yet made its way to Squirrel's Cove, are few and far between. Nevertheless, you do still notice that 4 human figures are following you. They're not moving they're kind of sticking to the shadows of crates and the like, trying to keep a low profile, but they are definitely making their way after you.
Okay. I'm going to continue on, just making it look like I've almost got my hands in my pockets, but actually I've got my hands on the hilt of both of my scimitars.
Okay.
Just sort of, maybe whistling a little bit, like.
Yeah. So, you, as you're doing this, you kind of, you can see that there's a large a number of crates near a cargo crane, and you watch as two of them split off and start to move, using the crates for cover around. You get the feeling they're probably going to try and flank you. You can see now that they definitely have weapons. You can just make out three of them, the two that went behind the crates, and one of the ones behind have short weapons of some sort. You'd say you can see at least one of those is flashing a little in the moonlight, but the longer, but one of the ones behind you also has what looks. Yeah, you're pretty sure it seems to be an improvised bill hook. They've literally taken a bailing hook for moving large quantities of cargo and strapped it to a pole.
Right.
It's very much.
I got one of them.
Yeah, it's an improvised docker's weapon.
So, like, what is a bill?
A bailing hook
I'm not sure I
is
understand them, so.
right. You know Captain Hook's hook.
Yeah.
One of those on a bit of wood set horizontally, like a T.
Oh, like for bales of hay.
Yeah, literally a bailing hook.
I get it. Yeah,
you also use them for shifting crates and so on, which is exactly why this fellow would have one.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
As might be expected for a bunch of dockers, they don't seem to have any sort of armour. Not even the low-profile leather that you wear under your clothes.
So am I walking down kind of like a pontoon right now?
Yeah, basically. There's very few witnesses. In fact, there's no witnesses.
All right. I'm going to try and take advantage of my size and hide behind a nearby barrel or crate.
Okay, yeah. There's plenty of cover. Make a stealth check for me, please.
All right.
Yeah, no.
That's a 14.
Okay. I'm just going to do something for me. Okay. You slide in comfortably between a pair of barrels that are just the right size to cover you. You're nestled in the shadows of them, and you can see that the pair are kind of coming up, and you've got your eyes on them. And it's only as they start to get close to you that they stop. And there's a moment's hesitation before you notice the other pair have now rounded around, and they are moving in towards you. They've definitely it clocks just as they're sort of covering your exits. They've spotted you, and now your back's to the wall.
Alright. I'm not going to jump in, but I'm going to have a look over the side of the pontoon to see how deep the water is.
Okay. Check. Moderately deep. Not so deep that if you jumped into it you'd be likely to hit the bottom, but deep enough that you could conceivably get under there and be hidden from sight and swim if you needed
Right.
to.
Okay. That's, would that be any different for a human-sized person?
Yes, it's actually just enough that might be a little dangerous for a human to do.
Right.
Your size is an advantage here. As they round up, you can see two of them have, I hesitate to say clubs, they have lengths of 2x4 of timber that they're holding in their hands. One has a long, quite a long knife, almost about as long as one of your scimitars. And of course one of them has the billhook. The knife wielder calls out, "There's no use hiding. We know you're there. Now, this doesn't have to get ugly. We just want to know where the dwarf is. See, one of our mates saw you with him earlier tonight. You just tell us where he's sleeping, and there needs to be no roughness between between any of us.
I walk out from my hiding place, attempt to, insofar as possible, keep an eye on all four of them.
Yep.
I say, don't know what to tell you, my hearties, but I haven't been with a dwarf at all this evening. It's a case of mistaken identity, I reckon.
Since you're not technically lying, you can do this as a persuasion check if you want.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
exactly
clever.
what I'm going to do. Yeah. Okay, it's
God,
just
we
going to be
should
a
have
straight
watched
roll.
your home. This is stressful.
Right, that's a 5.
Oh,
Okay.
Shit. No.
Yeah. The one with the bill hook kind of shakes his head. Sorry, mate. I saw you with my own 2 eyes. Now, you gonna tell us where that dwarf is, or are things gonna have to get a bit ugly here?
Well, the best way for you to stop this thing from getting ugly is for you to leave right now. I can tell you've obviously got experience in this, having a face only a mother could love.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna say roll an intimidation check with disadvantage because they do
Right.
outnumber you 4 to 1.
You're 2.5 foot and you're talking like this to 4 people.
Natural 20!
You can see the guy with the bill hook.
I will screenshot that for you if you
Yep,
don't
the
believe
guy
me.
with the knife, you can see, is just sort of clutching it, getting ready to charge, and the billhook guy kind of puts a hand on his shoulder, shakes his head.
Can I add something for flavour?
Yes.
Now you seem like a reasonable chap. But you look me directly in the eye and tell me if you think I'm lying when I say you would not be the first man I've killed this week.
They're kind of looking at each other, and the knife wielder kind of looks like he wants to have a go, but the billhook guy just sort of puts a hand on his shoulder and says, Mate, no. I saw that little pint-sized prick break a mug with his bare hands.
you did do that.
Hand. They kind of look at each other. Look, we don't want any trouble, but it may be if you do see that dwarf, think about it. We'll split the reward with you. That's what, 20 gold each? Nothing to be sniffed at.
No, and certainly if I do see any dwarves around here, you'll be the first to know.
Right. Well, we'll be on our way then. And they kind of
Right you are,
awkwardly
sir.
step away, and you can see that they're kind of making their way. They make a kind of step cautiously away for a bit. Once they're about 50 feet away from you, they turn and walk briskly back in the direction towards the pub.
As they leave, he sort of smiles sweetly and tips his tricorn at them.
Okay.
After they leave, he kind of goes,
I'm going to say, make a perception check.
perception, okay. Oh, that's not good. That's a 8 total.
You hear a kind of scuffling, like a slight sort of struggling and clattering, coming from one of. You can just make out it's coming from an alleyway off towards, like slightly further in, where the docks give way to actual buildings.
Okay. He has a moment where he's going, ship that way, alleyway that way. Ship that way.
Like a little cartoon
Alleyway that
character.
Oh, Regent, preserve me. Right. And he walks down towards where the alleyway
Okay, are
is.
you advancing quickly or cautiously?
Cautiously.
Okay. Just as you'll get,
Stealth?
just as you're oh yeah, make a stealth check for me.
That will be another 8.
Okay. Just as you approach the alleyway, you hear a thud from the alleyway, and just the sound of clattering from the rooftop, and then nothing else.
Okay.
Peering round, you can see. Yep. You can see that there is a crumpled up looking figure just on the ground in the alley. They are completely still.
Do they look humanoid?
Yeah, looks to... It's a bit hard to see without getting close, but it looks like a human woman, probably a sailor. There's a moment where you glance at the hair. No, it's brunette. It's not semen salts.
All right. Well, that's the first.
Doesn't
thing
seem to be anyone from your crew.
Right. I am going to bend down to the ground without moving from where I am, and I'm gonna try and see if there are any tracks leading into or out of the alleyway.
Make an investigation check.
Being as humans are one of my favoured enemies, can I do this with advantage?
Yes.
That's going to be an 18.
Yeah, there are no tracks. There's certainly no fresh tracks leading into this alleyway. Actually, no. Sorry, there is
Alright.
one set of fresh tracks leading. You can see. You can just make out the muddy footprints from where this woman walked into the alleyway, and they stop
Alright.
around about where her body is.
I don't see anyone else in or above, do I?
Make a quick perception check.
Alright. That would be a 15.
No. No sign in the alleyway. Nothing above.
Okay. I am going to cautiously go in there and have a look at this woman.
Okay, can you make a medicine check to examine the body, please?
Yes? That's an 8.
Okay. She's... well, her neck's broken, as is her leg and hip.
That could all have been from falling.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but you know that at the very least she definitely fell. You can't tell from looking at her whether she fell from the top of the rooftop or from or what exact distance she fell from. But no, she definitely fell and hit here.
All right.
There's
so we're ascertained that
there's no other wounds on the body that you can tell in this light. Bearing in mind you're working by moonlight, like there's no stab wounds or anything. There's very little blood.
Right. Okay. We've ascertained it's not any of my shipmates, but does it look like a deckhand, perhaps, of a different vessel?
Looking her over, yeah, she has the looks more of a deckhand than a docker. You know, someone who mans the rigging rather than spends all day lifting loads. Like the build is different, more athletic, less.
The two buildings that I'm in between now,
Mhm.
do I know what maybe they are for?
One appears to be a warehouse. You don't know what it holds because the doors are shut. The other looks to be some sort of counting house or similar.
Right. Okay.
Both are tall. They're at least relatively tall. They're at least 2 stories. The lower building is about 20 feet up. Is the roof from the ground?
Right. Enough to have fallen from and done all this,
Yeah.
most likely. Right. I'm going to get out of the alleyway as quickly as possible, but via the other entrance, so it doesn't look like anyone. Also, it doesn't look like I've just come out and
Murdered
killed
this
her.
lady. Yeah. Okay, you slip
Yeah.
out into the others, and there's no one in the street beyond that you can see, but it's a short walk back towards one of the main streets with actual torch lighting, and you walk briskly back to back into lit streets.
As I go, I'm going to have a look at the adjoining rooftops to see if I see anyone.
Okay. Yep. Make a perception check.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
Just for a moment, you look up at the rooftops above and adjoining, and you don't see anything. But as you look down the street, there is just a moment where you catch a shape moving from one rooftop to another, and then it's gone.
All right. I make a note of its direction. Is it heading away from the alley or towards it?
Away. Heading towards, I'm going to say the east side of town.
All right. I'm going to follow it.
I'm just going to say make a perception check, see if you can keep up with it.
All right. That's a 13.
You follow, you try and catch sight of it again, but it's gone. It's just managed.
Saints,
It's just
damn
too
it.
dark, and that's enough for it to. Without any solid lighting, it has the night on its side.
All right. Well, there's nothing much else I can do here, and I slowly and cautiously retrace my steps back towards my ship.
Okay. I'll pick up from there in a little bit, as this seems to be a good moment to call a break. Let ourselves all visit, take care of various teams, and we will return shortly.
I'm so glad you
Very
didn't
stressful when I
die.
can't do anything. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Right, see you all after the break.
All right. Have a good one.
Well, I've been living in Scarl's Cove a long, long year. And I've seen many a strange thing, but not so strange as those three. And if there was one thing that I could do for them, it would be to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Maybe you can do the same. And welcome back. If you enjoyed that brief moments of silence or music and would like to change it for something else, and you happen to produce some sort of product or service relating to Dungeons and Dragons or just geekiness in general, consider sponsoring us and we'll put an advert there instead. Fun times.
Yay!
Anyway, back to the game in progress. So, it is the morning. Causing you stumble back in to... So okay. It is the morning now. You stumbled back to your ship. The Uncle Vieg, the first mate, was not currently available, so you basically stumbled into your bunk and drifted off. You're awoken by the sound of screeching gulls and the bright dawn, just slightly after dawn light, of the 8th of falling leaves. You can hear the sounds of conversation from the deck above, including some voices that you don't recognise.
Alright, I'm going to roll out of my hammock, get dressed, suited and booted, and then head on out up onto the main deck. What sort of time do I reckon it is?
Being the time of year, we've not yet hit winter time, so it's like about probably approaching 6 in the morning. It's just after dawn.
Okay, 6 bells,
Yeah,
right.
so it's about 6 bells. And indeed, as you make your way up to the deck, you can just hear them starting to ring from the harbour.
Yeah, okay.
There's a bit of a gathering up on the deck. You recognise, of course, the forms of your crewmates. Stood in the middle of the deck is Captain Brandy, a huge half-orc. When I say huge, I mean like about Celestia's height, hair included, but maybe twice her width. Broad-shouldered, broad-shouldered half-orc, deep brown skin, bright red curly hair, and a sprawling, sprawling curly red beard.
Okay.
He is currently flanked by First Lieutenant Petrovich, a male half-elf with kind of pale skin and raven hair in quite a tight ponytail, and the bosun Solder, a human woman, tanned skin with very tightly bound to her scalp in like quite tight braids, brown hair. And they and a couple of other crew are not quite facing off against, but presenting themselves to what appear to be a pair of the watch. You can see that there are 2 soldiers up on the deck. There's a few more down below, but this doesn't seem to be a search per se. They've just turned up, and you can see that they are dressed in the maroon uniforms that are common to the Kingdom of Wending. Short-cut military jackets, kind of done to the waist with trousers, maroon trousers, down thick black boots. They have muskets, but they are currently being carried in a sort of resting fashion. They're not slung around their backs. They are being carried, but they're not being presented. There's no sign of a fight likely to break out. Nevertheless, the as it were, the police is always a little unwelcome on a ship.
Yeah.
And you get and as you come up, you can just hear Captain Brandy. I don't understand why it is that my ship can't can't set sail because you're having problems. No, look, I understand. This says one of the two soldiers, a human with a pencil, sort of brown pencil moustache. I understand that you have places to be, but until the investigation is complete, we have orders from the magistrate that we cannot let any ship leave the harbour. I'm sorry, but you must understand. I don't understand. What I don't understand is how this involves my crew. Are you suggesting that one of us did it? Now, look, I am not in a position to make any such suggestions, but until we have caught the culprit, we cannot let anyone leave the harbour. Now, the victims to this point that we found have all been sailors, but this morning one of our watchmen went missing, and I'll have you know that we take that sort of thing personally. So, please, we don't want to cause any trouble. We're not going to search your ship. At which point the first lieutenant says, "Well, certainly not without any sort of warrant." Yes. We're not going to search your ship. We just want you to know that don't leave town, okay? Come on, Brendan. Let's get on to the next ship. The pair of them march off. It's like looking slightly flustered.
Okay.
V kind of looks around. Good to see you, Jorges. Not too much of a headache this morning, yes?
No, I've stomach worse than the gnat's pits they serve here. But what was all that about?
There's been disappearances amongst the dock workers, some of the sailors. They found a body last night. It looks, they're thinking maybe there is a murderer in town. Yes, and of course they're blaming us honest privateers. Not that they would say so, but let's just say that we can't leave town until they manage to catch this prick, whoever it is.
Right. Well, usual bureaucratic nonsense, I've no doubt. But well, there were a couple of dock workers who were getting somewhat pushy with me last night. I managed to persuade them that it was not a good idea, and things did not go anywhere near violent, which I'm very thankful for. There were 4 of those buggers.
You can see that the captain has already started to make his way off with the boatswain. They seem to be discussing something heading into the ship.
But while I have a moment, there is a matter I wanted to discuss with you. Is, as you know, there's been that unfortunate gunner's position going empty ever since Smith.
Yes, of course.
So I figured, as it was partially me that was responsible for that, it might be advantageous if I were to try and fill that position, and I think I may possibly have found just the candidate.
You've managed to find a new gunner. I mean, depending on their experience, likely we will promote one of the gunner's mates. They'll be in the gunner's mate position, but frankly, this shit for brains town. All of the competent cannoneers already seem to be manning the shore fortress.
Well, I'll see if I can get hold of them today and bring them up here so you can make the decision about it yourself.
All right.
Also, I came across a person who was who's looking for passage. Their skill set is less in the gunning position, but could possibly be good for morale.
Tell you what, Seaman Thomas hasn't come back this morning. That's not unusual. Gets pissed, falls asleep in gutters. If they don't make it back by the time we're due to leave, they can have her bunk.
Do you want me to go and have a look for her?
Thomas always turns up eventually. Piece of shit.
Right, they are.
No, you bring them to Uncle Vig. Uncle Vig will take a look.
Right, you are there. And I salute and wander off down the gangplank.
Half-hearted salute back. Kind of more of an appropriate sort of nod of an officer to a subordinate, and make your way down. Meanwhile, the pair of you have been kicked awake. In the case of, quite literally in the case of Scamp, by Sandro, who was giving you a kind of nudge of the foot. All right, get up. We need to make breakfast and be ready for some of the people coming in from fields. So, she kind of waves her hand at you. You do whatever it is you do. To be honest, I don't think most people will be up for seeing this time of day. So, come back for the early evening. Saying then I've got some porridge made up for you, and I guess for you as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Very kind of you.
Breakfast.
And there's milk and small beer for you.
Thank you.
She serves you a small amount of small. It is very much a small beer, but and a small, kind of begrudgingly served cup of milk, and it's not bad porridge actually, as porridge goes, which is not saying a lot. There's not too much you can do with this porridge, given that it isn't particularly spiced or anything. But it's porridge. It fills you up.
I make little tiny dancing lights on the edges of Scamp's bowl to entertain her during breakfast.
It is quite entertaining. The question sort of comes to the pair of you of what you plan to do for the day.
I have a question.
Yes.
This address for the Dragonborn head slaver guy. It's in town, but is it like if I was going there, could I go via the ship and go there without it being a stupid route? Or would it be better?
It's sort of more. The office isn't far from the dock fronts. It would be a bit of a detour, but it would add maybe 20 minutes to your journey.
Yeah, maybe then let's do that. Scamp, what are your plans for today? Lying down.
Not get caught.
Okay. Would you like some help with that?
Yes.
Right. I've got business in town. If you'd like a companion to stop people throwing stones, as you say they do, or whatever, you could tag along if you'd like. I'm planning on going via the ship, so we could see if we've got a place to go potentially as well.
Yeah.
That sound good?
Sure. I know the way. If you wanna. Do you know where you're
Brilliant.
going?
Okay, I take her over to the notice board. I say this place. We can see this guy.
You've lived here all your life, Scamp. You know where that.
I can move twice as fast through
yeah,
cities.
you actually also know. Yeah, you know all the shortcuts in this place.
Oh,
you can actually get her there a lot faster than if she was walking through the main streets herself.
Oh, amazing.
So
I asked Scamp actually. Do you know anything about this guy? Hickory Saito?
Make I guess, call it a history check. Just more about personal experience.
4. Nope.
Oh, nope.
No, you're pretty sure it's a female name, but that's about it. You've never
but
you've never
names
met the
don't mean
woman in
anything.
person. Yeah, you've never met Saito in person. You've never even seen them. But you know the area, you know the streets. You can easily find the office.
Okay, let's go.
Excellent. Okay. As you make your way out.
Yeah, we're going to go to the ship first.
Yeah.
So.
Ship first. As I'm going to say, Celestia and Scamp. While you're not necessarily the most perceptive of people, it is daylight, and so it doesn't take much for you to notice as you start as you make your way out of the pub and on towards the docks, to notice a kind of sleepy-looking figure shake themselves awake from a nearby alleyway and start trying as surreptitiously as they can manage to follow the pair of you.
Do I recognise them?
Make a make a perception check.
4! Nope.
Some docker from the looks of them. Yeah. They look
what
like
do they look like? Like, are they human?
Yeah, kind of broad-built human fellow in this case. They are wearing just simple clothes, like rough, not rough spun, but it's just simple, quite rough flax shirt and short-cut trousers, the type that most of the dock workers around here wear.
I walk up to them. Are you lost, my dear?
Oh, shit!
No. Kind of looks a little bit weirdly at you, Scamp, over you. No. Actually, just a bit of a question. You wouldn't happen to have seen a silver-bearded dwarf in the pub last night, did you?
Yes, I saw one!
Did you see one?
Yes! I was talking to them. They said they were leaving town immediately.
Make a deception check.
That was very convincing.
That is a 17.
Yeah. Do you hear which way they were going?
Ooh, west? The west gate. Is there a gate I should know? I would know.
That
Is there
would
a west
be
gate?
west is the sea.
Okay, not the west. When I was saying
God.
east, I would know this. This is where
Yes,
I
you would
live.
know this. Yeah, east. So
east
further
gate.
inland.
Inland. Really far inland.
I suppose it could be going back to the mountains. All right. Well, thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Quickly shuffles away.
Right. Well, you don't have that beard on you, do you? Just a quick question.
It's in this cloak I'm carrying.
Maybe
I'm
we
assuming
should.
you'd come out in.
I'm just carrying the cloak, it all wrapped up.
Maybe we should stash that somewhere. You shouldn't really walk around with the beard just on you.
It's hidden.
It is hidden. Like a little bit of it's poking out at this particular
Okay,
point.
just keep it hidden until we find somewhere to put it. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, that's like different. Like, there's nooks and crannies and stashes that you've used before. If you want to
I'm
literally
worried
just.
we're leaving and I don't want to lose
Yeah.
it. Then I'll
Fair
have to
enough.
make a new one.
This is true. This took you a surprising amount of effort to make in the first
What
place.
did you make it out of? Did you just like make people's
Beard.
hair? Like beard. You made it out of beard.
Yep.
Right. Cool. Okay.
The mind boggles.
Right, well, this is just keep it hidden. Be subtle.
It is
Says
100%
Celestia at
dwarven
6'4" in her clothes.
Pink child with horns.
Yeah. Suffice to say, you get some looks as you move around. Your presence, Celestia, seems to turn those those looks less from disgust and annoyance to mild confusion.
Okay. Right, well, don't confuse people. Right, let's go to the ship then.
Okay. You make it to the. I guess Corzin mentioned the name of the Charlie's Regret, and actually, Scamp, you pay occasional attention to which ships move into dock, and you do actually recall the Charlie's Regret docking about 3 days ago, so you're easily able to make your way there. The Regret...
Will I run into them?
You probably run into them as you're coming off it. And you can see there is the Regret is... it's arguably, by strict naval definition, it's a boat rather than a ship, because it doesn't have enough guns to count as... to get a rating. It's a sloop of war, two-masted brig sloop. It has a complement... When fully crewed, it has a complement of 121 crewmen. So, it's still quite large by the standards of people just walking around on the street, but not as big as, say, a ship of the line. And it has 18 guns, 2 forward-facing bow guns and 16 32-pound cannonades on the sides. So it's pretty well armed for its size, which you'd expect in a privateer. Kind of looks fast. Not that you know anything about boats.
This is a boat to me.
Yeah. Exactly. But Corzin, you know from experience that it's pretty fast. That's sort of its advantage. You, as you're coming down, you actually see the pair of them making their way out of one of the out from behind. Actually, the very same crane and docks that you got ambushed, crane and crates that you got ambushed behind. Because that just happens to be a convenient shortcut.
A thing to note: Celestia, since she's come outside in the direct sunlight, has been just a little bit squinty and putting her hand over her eyes a lot, and she's just a little bit.
Yeah, it's the surface is bright.
Yeah. We go up to the ship, I guess.
Yeah, okay. And as you go up, you run into the tiny form of Corzin coming down the gangplank.
Corzin!
Ah, there you are.
Hello. Did you ask about our positions?
Just this moment, actually.
Oh, fantastic.
Might as well come up the gangplank then, hang on.
And indeed, Vig is still up there. You can just kind of standing the watch. And you see a pale-skinned half-elf. There's definitely some human in there. With raven hair in a tight ponytail. Kind of looks over like, hello. And what can Uncle Vig do for you?
Creepy.
He kind of looks down at Scamp, and, well, you're certainly unusual.
Uncle Vig can do all sorts of things for me.
Creepy.
I'm looking... So creepy. I'm looking for potentially passage in return for a few songs.
Are you the gunner? Oh, no, not the gunner.
No, that's the gunner. I point at Scamp.
Looks down a little disrespect, a little unbelievingly.
Yeah, that's me. Guns.
I say to Vig, how old's the cabin boy these days?
Kind of looks around. He's pushing 16. Honestly, a couple more months, and basically we just rate him as an able seaman. He's been on the ship for 3 years. It's actually long enough.
Right. Well, I don't think Scamps here is much younger than that.
Probably.
And he kind of looks very, very pointedly at Scamp and goes, "Are you, lad?"
Yes.
Are you?
No. Probably not.
Just as a question, are we still sure if Scamp is actually a boy or a girl, or are they just a they?
They are a they.
Awesome.
I'm going to state explicitly, Scamp is a they.
I was saying she because Robbie, and I just realised that that's not actually right, so I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm not sure Corzin would actually know or really care.
Yeah.
They're a child.
Really
Why
care.
would
I just
you?
want to make sure I'm saying the right thing.
It's a child. With a child. Who cares?
Thanks, yeah.
True.
Who gives a shit?
really, gender considerations are overturned by the horns and the cloven feet.
Yeah. It's like, not the most important thing, really.
He's kind of looking a little uncertain, like, oh...
I'm good with gunpowder.
Okay, what sort of experience do you have?
I worked for a gunsmith for a year, 2 years? I don't know. Time's weird.
Alright. He kind of looks at you over. I'm going to say make a persuasion check.
Oh dear. Oh no! Oh wait, I can get advantage, can't I, if I want to?
You can.
I'm going to use the Tides of Chaos.
Okay.
Fuck it, why not?
I don't know what that means. How
So,
exciting.
Tides of Chaos is a sorcerer ability if you are a wild magic
Oh my
sorcerer.
god, podcast listeners, the Player's Handbook has
Yep.
come out.
Player's Handbook has
the
come out.
campaign.
Second time, because I need to double check something before. But,
I'm really concerned.
So, Tides of Chaos. You may manipulate the forces of chance and chaos to gain advantage on one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. Once you do so, you must finish a long rest before you use this feature again. Any time before you regain the use of this feature, the DM can have you roll on the Wild Magic Surge table immediately after you cast a sorcerer spell of first level or higher. You then regain the use of the feature. So, Tides of Chaos in effect. Okay, so yeah, you kind of... You know that you've got... Well, what an uncharitable person might describe as the devil's own luck. And yeah, you kind of pull on that little bit inside you, just to see if you can push push this in your favour.
Which would make that a 22 for persuasion.
Whoa! He seems like on the verge of dismissing you, but then kind of notices something. Just seems to see something in you. You remind me... Well, never mind. It's not important. Tell you what, you come below deck with me. Let's see how much you know. And he brings you down to one of the cannons, one of the carronades.
Oh dear.
It's a 32 launches 32-pound iron shot.
Ooh.
And asks you and sort of points to different parts of it and says, "Okay, so do you know what? Tell me how you would use this then. For this, I mean, okay. First of all, do you, Robbie, know much about the operation of cannons?
Not an enormous amount, no.
Okay, in which case, I will allow you to make an intelligence check using your proficiency bonus.
Okay.
Because this is actually, because of your background, something you have proficiency in.
Ooh, that's good. What's my proficiency bonus? It's a 2 at the moment, isn't it? So that's a non-natural 20.
Okay. He starts to he points at sort of very, very simply like a large wooden-ended rod with a kind of big plug at the end, and says, "Okay, what is this for?" And you kind of go, "It's easy. That's for
the stuffing."
Yeah, it's for ramming the wad in after you've loaded the. Kind of points next to a series of flannel cartridges, and you easily rattle off that those are filled with pre-measured amounts of gunpowder that you would put in before the wad. Before you can even question you on the next bit, you then talk about how at the hole on the other end you pierce the cartridge with a piercer so that you can light it later with either with a flintlock match or with like a lit taper. You basically just rattle off the whole process of how to load, prepare, and fire a cannon.
Nice.
And he sort of stares at you for a moment, dumbfounded. Well, all right then. What's your name?
Scamp.
Welcome aboard, Scamp. You
Cheers.
are gunner's mate now.
Cool. I'm employed.
You, I like you, but if Seaman Thomas does not turn up, congratulations, you have a job. If they turn up, nah. we see.
Fair enough.
But you! I like you. I don't think I would like you, but I like you. Uncle Vig will look after you.
Yeah, if you'd like a sample of my work, I can do that for you.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, I sing the one sea shanty that I know.
Oh, God. Okay.
On the guitar, and I have, like, little dancing lights sort of going up and down in a rhythm, like the ship's moving, and
Okay,
I make little,
make
wave sounds with minor illusion.
Performance check.
Oh god, if it's bad, this is going to be really embarrassing. Oh, it's good. That's a 22! Woo.
Like, sort of nods along to it. A few of the other seamen sort of stop their work and glance over. There's this weird below deck performance going on. It's like, all right, I like you. Like, not the version of Leave Her Johnny, Leave Her to Dive Her, but I like it. I look forward to what else you have.
It's like jazzed up.
Yeah.
It's a remix.
It's very much the rock version. Leave her, Johnny, leave her for the West Bend Bowl.
I'm slamming it on the guitar, like there's backing vocals going. There's backing vocals going. Like rock falsetto.
Nice.
Very nice.
So yes, he agrees that all right, that's enough to secure your berth on the ship, regardless of whether Thomas makes it back. But it's possibly Thomas. Thomas might be Seaman Thomas might be a bit upset about losing their rum ration, depending on how things go. So, with your employment sorted, the three of you return to the deck. At the moment, you're currently still on leave, causing you don't need to stand to do a watch today, and mercifully, no one has gotten injured overnight.
Hey!
So your
Well, good to
requirements
know.
as ship surgeon are not demanded either.
Right.
Would we have heard about the ships not leaving or not?
No, this isn't something you would have encountered as you go. But if you want, then we can just say that someone has mentioned this.
I don't mind.
Well, I tell you what, I'll mention it to you.
Yeah.
Like, we've had. Seems like we're going to be staying in dock for a little while longer than anticipated.
No, you're not sailing out this afternoon?
Well, that was originally the plan, but we've had we've had words had with us from the guard here that we're not supposed to sail until they've caught whoever was responsible for last night's disturbance. Apparently several people went missing, including one of the members of the watch themselves.
Oh,
As it
dear.
so happens, on my way back here last night, and I sort of lean in a little bit close to you, because
I
was
lean all the
accosted.
way down to your level, like I'm like bent over.
You know, it'd probably be just easier if you knelt down.
I kneel.
You can stand on my shoulders if you like.
You can go off people, you know.
Aww.
I
Anyway,
literally just sit cross-legged on the floor because that's probably the same height.
I was accosted by 4 dock workers who seemed to be very interested in getting their hands on a certain dwarf. Meaningful
Oh
look.
dear. Thought we should have walked you home.
It's fine, I was able to talk my way out of that one. But
Well done.
they are looking after you, and I was able to tell them truthfully that I have not actually spent any time with any said dwarves since I've been in town. Now, another thing that I found, possibly unrelated, was an unfortunate young lady had apparently fallen to her death in one of the
What?
alleyways. Yes.
Well, did you... anyone you'd seen before, or...?
No, by the looks of her, she was another deckhand, but not from this ship. I recognise her
tell
if she was
anyone?
from this ship. No, but I did see something I don't even know exactly what it was that I saw, but it was moving over the rooftops fast. And, well, if there's one thing I can't avoid, it's a mystery like that. I think, they've probably found her and cleared her away by now, but...
Well, I hope so. I mean, someone's probably looking for her, aren't they? I mean, should we go back and check?
Yeah, I mean, you can understand. First thing anyone's going to assume if they see me leaving the scene of a crime like that is, oh, it's a bunch of privateers. One gets too rowdy, and it's just a whole situation we can all do without, frankly.
Have I heard anything
But
about
if you hadn't
these
done
murders?
anything,
Like, is this something that's been going on?
Make an investigation check. A sort of a reverse investigation check. Actually, wait. There is a passive. You do have a passive investigation check score, which is 11. So I will say that you have, you do recall hearing a couple of days before, the day before that on the docks that one or two people haven't shown up for work. But this is the first you've heard of an actual body being discovered. But yeah, you definitely recall people mentioning that people had gone missing yesterday morning. Of course, then other events sort of took on your interest that day.
right? Well, I
I
mean,
wouldn't mind going back to the place to search it in daylight, but I suppose whoever's responsible for that is going to be long gone by now.
I mean, we're gonna have a look if you like. I'm on my way into town. I've got some business I need to do. You can tag along.
Fair
and
enough.
stop at the alleyway on the way and maybe make some inquiries as to if anything's been found out.
Right.
While we're there.
I think that'll be just dandy.
I'll lead the way! Where are we
Might as well, 'cause
going?
we don't know where we're going.
It was this alleyway between a counting house and some sort of warehouse. You don't
Yep, know that.
Yeah, sounds
Right.
like it sounds like old Gumfrey's Ginnel. You don't know if that's the actual street name. You just know that some of the other urchins call it that.
Yep, down the Gimble.
And yeah, you head to the Ginnel in question. There is approaching it. Yeah, there is a member of the watch there, marine uniform. Their musket is just strapped, on a torso strap at their back. It's there if they need it, but it's
I'm going to stand slightly in front of Scamp to just sort of
okay. You kind of
shield
just,
her from
occlude
view a
her
little bit.
And yeah, he's just sort of. You can see he looks. You can tell that he's probably been stood there a little while because as you approach, you see him quickly tap out a pipe and shove it in a pocket, which he was clearly smoking beforehand. Shuffles into a straighter position. Hello, hello, hello. Who goes that?
Celestia Stardust. We were just wondering, is everything okay? We heard about some bad goings on. The ships aren't sailing out. Wondering what was happening.
Oh yeah, nasty business. Some disappearances. Lady got killed here last night. You're looking into the alleyway. You can see that the body has been removed, although quite a few fresh footprints have arrived, as well as some scuff marks, presumably of the watch dragging the body away. The scene has not been ruined too much by the watch.
Right.
So it's all under control. Magistrate will be sorting out. Why? Did you see anything?
No, just curious. Wondering if it was safe yet or not. Concerned citizens.
Oh no! No, don't you worry. I'm sure we'll catch them.
I'm sure you will, good sir.
I heard a monster's eating people.
Kind of looks around, peers around your shoulder. Gonna see whether he happens to have seen you before. Nope. Like,
Aw.
That's probably good.
Regents, teeth, what are you?
I'm a child.
That would be a scamp.
Alright. Don't let it get near me. Kind of takes his his short jacket and kind of like pulls it taut.
While this is happening, can I double back around the other side of the building and see if I can come into the alleyway from the opposite side so as to have a look at the scene of the crime anew?
Yeah, he's
and
pretty
as unspoiled
distracted.
and unnoticed as possible.
Yeah, he's pretty distracted by the by Scamp. So I'll let you do a stealth roll with an advantage.
Alright.
I'm going to be super distracting.
I'm going to say something in a minute, but I'll let you do your roll first.
That's going to be an 18.
Nice. Yeah, you quickly slip round the counting house and make your way into the alley from the other
I'm
side.
going to say, that's a bit rich coming from you.
What are you talking about?
You're a human, she said. Why are you looking down on her like this?
It's because I'm short.
Frankly,
You are, but you're a child, that's fine.
no offence, but it looks like the mother fucked a goat.
To be fair, I
You look
can't.
like your mother fucked a human.
Ha!
Bit of a shame, really.
To be fair, I can't prove
Look.
she didn't.
He kind of pulls in his jacket again. Look, madam, I don't know what your problem is, but if you're going to go around defending bloody demon spawn, you can get out of this alleyway.
Oh.
It seems to be kind of in a staring contest with you.
Do I do the bad thing, guys? Yeah, always.
I'm so close to doing a bad thing.
So...
The bad thing?
Vicious mockery.
Ooh, that's an attack. That's a full-on
She's
attack.
got more horns than you've got brain cells. Shit, he didn't make it as an actual attack.
What does
No.
vicious mockery do?
1d4 of psychic damage and disadvantage on his next attack.
Okay, roll 1d4.
Oh shit balls, this was a silly idea.
Oh dear.
Fuck are my d4s? There we
There's
go.
one.
That's,
Two points of damage.
that's a 2.
Okay, he kind of like, he looks at you and like, well, there's no call for that. Kind of like twitches a little and is kind of rubbing his temple like he's got a sudden headache. And you can see, but he doesn't seem to have noticed, just like a little bit of blood trickling out of one ear.
I say to him, you might want to choose your words more carefully.
Look, you do what you want, madam, but I've got to police this scene, all right?
I'm going to cast a minor
Have
illusion.
a nice day now.
I'm going to cast minor
Yeah.
illusion and just have a little voice just next to his ear go, your mother never loved you. Just behind
He
his
spins
ear.
around, just looking terrified. Like, what the? What? Okay, so while this has been going on, while this has been going on, Corzin, you've been able to get a look around. Make a new investigation check, please.
An investigation check. Okay. 18.
Okay. Yeah, so looking around, you can see your own footprints from the previous night making it the way in. A couple more that match up to the standard watch boot print. Again, you can see that there's no trace of anyone else going into the alleyway apart from the woman who was killed here. What you can tell, however, looking down, is you can see in the light what was previously covered up by her body. There are scuff marks in the alleyway's dirt that kind of look like legs that might be made by someone's legs kicking out suddenly.
Okay.
And looking up, you can see there is on the counting house roof, the lower of the two compared to the warehouse, one of the tiles has been kicked loose, and you can just, because frankly, you've got some pretty good eyesight from your time at sea. You can just make out what looks like a little bit of loose like rope strand tagged onto one of the tiles.
All right. Does there look like there's any obvious, for want of a better term, impact crater from where she landed?
Yeah. You can quite clearly tell where she.
Okay, so she definitely fell, if nothing else.
Yeah, she definitely fell, and looking at it in the light of day, it looks like she fell from about the height of the counting house.
How high is it? How many stories?
20, about 2 stories, 20 feet up.
Cool.
So yeah, 2-story drop.
But if you fall badly, very bad.
Okay, I'm gonna walk back out of the alley and see if there's any easy way up onto the roof.
Okay, so I can look around. You suspect that while there might be, there may possibly be a route like a sort of skylight type shutters leading up through the counting house attic, but you can't really see them from there. There are, however, no ladders or similar. For someone to get up to the counting house from street level, they would basically have to climb a gutter pipe, or which there is actually a gutter pipe, or go up, kind of like leap up on the sort of not parkour, but like freestyle climbing style up the like window ledges and such. That said, however, the area is pretty heavily terraced. And if you were athletic and very capable jumper, you could get rooftop to rooftop around here. You could run for much of the length of a street with across rooftops, so long as you were sure of your footing.
I might actually try to climb the drain pipe because I'm small enough. It's probably going to take my weight.
All right, make an athletics check.
Athletics.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're still like in real time. We're still talking to the guard.
Yeah, I'm going to say like you're coming to the end
Cool.
of
I've
your.
got a bit confused in my head. Yeah.
That's a 15.
Okay, you shimmy your way up the drain pipe. This is like no harder than getting your way up a mast, which you've done before.
Yep.
Okay, you make your way up through about maybe 30 seconds work. Because, you can shimmy your way up a drain pipe. Doesn't mean you can shimmy up it quickly. And get up onto the counting house roof. From here, you've got a much clearer view of the rooftops around. I'm going to ask you for another investigation check now that you're here.
All right. 7.
Yeah, you can now see, you can't really see many new routes, but now that you're up here, you can see where some of the tiles near where you reckon the woman might have fallen from are kind of scattered, maybe and one actually a little pushed in, as if they were taking the weight of maybe 1 or 2 people there.
All right.
It kind of looks like someone was standing there, either someone heavy or possibly 2 people.
Okay. I'm going to look specifically for tracks that lead up to the edge of the roof and if I can see over to the adjoining one.
Okay. Because of your suspicions that a human may have done this, I'll let you take an advantage on this tracking check.
All right.
So, investigation points.
Good job I did.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's investigation?
Yeah.
That's a 13.
Okay. Yeah, you don't know how much of this might be your prejudice kind of pushing you one way, but you strongly suspect from little hints here and there that someone, either a human or an elf, maybe a push an orc. So definitely one of the larger races, larger humanoid races, by your perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see where it looks like they made their way onto this roof, and you can see scuff marks where they moved quickly. Looks like they've moved a few rooftops down before doing before reaching the point where you saw the shadow leap across. That's a 10-foot jump, which is doable, but like with a run up. If you were
that'd be
confident.
pushing it for me.
It'd be pushing it for you, but someone with much longer legs could do it.
Probably fine for me.
Yeah. You can actually see though, like not here, but a couple of streets down, what you thought was a washing line. You can see someone appears to have tied just a line of rope over a street, over the gap, like over a street in the gaps between the rooftops.
All right. Is that similar to the strand of rope that I saw before?
Hard to tell. Rope is rope. This is a rope making town.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Like it's definitely hemp, and it looks like it's sturdy hemp, but so is most of the rope in this town.
That's out of the ordinary. Okay. Would I be able to make my way towards it?
You can. By this point, I will say that you can. Glancing down, you can see the others are moving away from the alleyway. It seems that
right. I'll.
They've
what direction are they moving in? Are they moving towards or away from?
I mean, what direction would you guys be moving in, if at all? Like, I'm assuming you've cleared out of the immediate alleyway.
Yeah, we would have cleared, but I guess we're probably just looking around the general area.
Okay, yeah, they've literally just moved one alleyway on, and now looking around for you.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I don't want to antagonize the guard anymore because I might have heard snatches of what was going on down there.
His ear is literally bleeding.
Yeah.
And his mother doesn't love him.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see if his mother loved him. He just has really poor self-confidence.
Oh.
Okay.
That's the saddest.
All right.
We made it worse.
Already this party is tending towards chaotic. Right.
I think all of you have chaotic on your alignments.
That's quite funny.
Yeah.
That's probably
also
for
kind
the best.
of to be expected.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do go over and I have a look at the rope if I can.
Okay. There is a. I'm going to say. I'm going to require an acrobatics check because you've got to cross at least one alleyway's worth of gap to get to that.
All right, acrobatics. Damn it, that's going to be a 7.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you for a dexterity saving throw then, please.
Oh
Alright.
dear.
No.
Okay, that's not too bad. That's 21.
Okay, you kind of give it a bit of a run up. You leap across the alleyway. You fall just short, and you just manage to get your fingertips onto the edge of the guttering, and it kind of slams you into the wall.
Oof!
You, I'm gonna say, you do take 3 points of damage just from the impact, but you don't fall,
Ugh,
and you're able
there's
to
so many
pull
points
yourself.
at this level.
Yeah, and you're able to pull yourself back up onto the rooftop.
Oh god.
Okay, I wiped the blood from my nose and just sort of.
Oh. Or if you
okay.
knotted the wall. Ow.
Not your best move, Corzin. Not your best move.
But you get up and you're able to, kind of slightly stumbling, make your way over to the rope.
Okay.
Okay. This is. You don't have proficiency in investigation normally, do you?
I do not.
Okay, I'm going to let you do this with your proficiency check because of your experience with rope.
All right. So investigation.
Yep. But with your proficiency bonus.
So it's +2. 7.
Ooh.
It's rope. It looks like old rope. It doesn't look freshly made.
Okay.
But it's.
Where is it leading?
It is leading further east, towards the eastern side of town.
That's where that
Looking at
dwarf
it.
went.
looking at it, does it look like it's been set up in order to to allow someone to climb across?
Yeah, pretty much. Like looking at, you can actually just make out there is a slight slope, and you can see where it's kind of been set up on. There's basically chimney stacks. It's been looped around the chimney stacks, and there is a very slight slope, and you can just make out the hints of rope burn where someone has used another piece of rope to essentially zip line along this.
Well, that's what amateurs do. I'm going to take out my belaying hook and use it to zip line across it.
That's cool.
Okay, I am going to require an acrobatics check on this. Okay. But this is definitely cool.
That's much better. That's 18.
Okay, yeah, with exquisite grace, you take your hook, loop it on, and just
Little legs
slide over to
dangling
the other
in
end. You're now about 2 streets away from the rest of the party.
All right. I'm going to see what I can see here, and then I'm going to get down to ground level because I don't want to get too far separated.
Okay, make a perception check.
All right, perception. 11.
Moment. Okay. Just for a moment, and you're not sure whether it's a trick of the light or not, but you swear you see just like a hint. You just see a shadow behind move behind a chimney stack a few streets away. There is more or less a direct line of rooftops, but again another alleyway jump between you and that point.
Okay, was it like there 1 second and then it whips behind?
Yeah, that's kind of, you just caught it out of the corner of your eye and just saw like a shadow just nip behind.
I am going to keep my eye on that place where the shadow disappeared, and I'm just going to stand stock still, hand, just casually resting on my carbine, just in case.
You just sort of reach behind to the what is essentially a short-barreled musket, currently bound to your back, and just keep it with one hand on the stock, ready to pull.
Yeah, just like, come on, make the first move, I dare you.
Okay, I'm going to say from where you are, your passive perception is high enough. You hear the clattering of roof tiles from that point, and you can kind of and you just see just a brief glint of metal before you hear the sound of. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to get down to ground level, whoever they are.
Right. I can't get to them over the.
Not without making another jump.
No, alright, I'm going to try and get down to ground level and follow them from there.
Have we seen him at all moving around? Do we know where he is?
Make a perception check to see if you saw him do the leap.
I am really sorry, guys, but it's just...
Both of us?
Yeah, you both can.
How it goes.
What is my perception? I don't think it's...
I'm pretty sure... I got a 2, so
2?
I do not see him.
I think I got an 11...
Okay, I'm just going to say that, for a moment, as you're looking around, Scout, you have to look up as you see just, you just hear a thwap sound, and look up just to see in time to see a tiny halfling figure scrabbling up onto a rooftop.
I want to just dart off and try and follow from the ground.
Yeah.
Not going
I'm going to say, now that you've seen him, you are able to keep pace with him now that you know where he is, because he's not actively hiding.
No, I'm not.
Just realised that I definitely should have had disadvantage on that, but I rolled another one and didn't get less than a 2,
that's fair
so
enough.
I think we're right.
Yes,
because it's sunlight.
Yeah, you got disadvantages.
Fun with drow.
Your like scamp is pointing up as and running, and you're kind of like squinting into the sun,
Oh no!
trying to follow as Corzin's running form on the rooftop. Okay, make I guess either an acrobatics or an athletics check, your choice, to try and get down to the ground.
Athletics is slightly better, so I'll go with that. Oh, not bad. That's another 18.
Okay. You get to the edge of the roof, glance down, you can see that there's a route you can take. You sort of quickly kind of climb down using some like window boxes, a bit of the stonework, and manage to get down to the ground just as the other party members catch up with you.
Okay. I see. There's somebody who's on the other side of that building over there. I don't know who it is, but I'm fairly certain it's the person I saw last night.
The dead
Okay.
one? Or the one on the roof?
No, not the dead one. Think it through.
Right. Are we following them? Are we going? What are we doing? Are we going to go?
What do you want to do
Follow
about
me!
it?
And I run around the other side of the building.
Balls!
Okay.
Oh, well,
Make
follow him.
anyone may make a perception check at this point. Although
I'll make a
the
perception
others
check.
don't necessarily know what you're looking for.
14.
Okay.
Ooh,
Would I have an
no.
advantage because I'm trying to
Oh,
actively
no,
track this thing?
disadvantage. Never mind.
No,
oh.
but you're...
Two.
No. 2.
Mine's not a 14, it's a 3 because
Okay,
disadvantage, so
disadvantage
ignore that
it's
last one.
really bright out. This will be better on a cloudy day for you.
Yeah.
Okay, my perception is 16.
15. Okay, you look. You kind of rush forwards. The street up ahead is fairly crowded, and as you look through, like you can see where the alleyway comes out into the street, but now it's the kind of morning where people are moving backwards and forwards. There's men pushing and women pulling carts. There's people stacked with rope and amongst other things and various sundry goods. There's people selling at stalls. You can see there's like here and there are watchmen walking around. You can see one's walking down through the crowd. You make it out with the marine jackets. And yeah, there's like, if they're in there, they've blended.
Blastic.
Do you know what this person looks like at all? What am I looking for here? Celestia's like squinting and like sort of like shielding her eyes with her hand and just getting kind of pissed off at the brightness of it all.
Did they look humanoid in size?
Humanoid in size and shape is what you'd say. Yeah, you really haven't caught the silhouette, but you would say medium-sized human. Could have been anywhere from 5'5" to 6'3". It was hard to make out. You were kind of like almost a street's length away.
Right, okay. It was
But
somebody closer to your height than ours.
Well, I mean, that does narrow it down.
Does it?
Not by much, I'm afraid.
No, not really. Not a lot to go on, is it?
Not enormous.
Is anyone wearing, like, dark clothes with a cloak up, maybe?
Again,
Looking around,
nobody
like,
around here wears cloaks. So.
there are a few people wearing cloaks. You can see them kind of walking towards you. They've got the hoods up against the sun. A couple of them, but they look like people who just don't like the sun in their eyes.
Alright, I know it's a massive cliche here, but you know the whole thing about the perpetrator always returns to the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
Well, why would they in this case?
Did they drop something?
Don't think so. Although there's definitely some scuffing up there on the roof that suggested that there must have been at least 2 or 3 people up there at the time the poor lady fell.
Did they want to cover their tracks?
If they did, they didn't do a massively good job of it. There was some scuffing on the other side, but what would have been a difficult jump for somebody human size would be damn near impossible for me.
I mean, do you want somebody to go up and have a look at it?
I think probably we've just got to keep our eyes peeled around here.
Alright, so
I've
let's do a
spooked
start.
him no matter what else has happened.
I'm going to say, for the sake of time, make one perception check with disadvantage. Actually, investigation check with disadvantage to see if you can find anything.
Me?
No, Celeste, because she's doing it and it's summer.
Yeah, I'm gonna climb up and have a look.
I'm going to say, like, you're able to climb up.
I'm
Sure, yeah.
pretty
You're not-
acrobatic.
Yeah, you're not doing it in a hurry, so...
Okay, so that is a disadvantage, so that's a... Hang on, what's my investigation? That's an 11.
Okay, looking up at the point where Corzin thinks the figure, like, saw the figure hiding, you can see, climbing up to the roof, there are some marks in... You can see that there is, like, you have to look around. There's just some footprint marks, like, scuffed on the wall. It looks like they almost, like, abseiled down. And looking up at the chimney stack they were hiding behind, you can just make out 3 kind of weirdly positioned, like, notches or grazes in the ceramic, like, chimney.
I'm gonna have a closer look at the notches, see if I can decipher anything.
They look like maybe like they were made by a knife,
Okay.
or like as if someone stabbed the wall 3 times, or well, it's more like the lip of the chimney.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back down. Do you want me to make a check for that? Or?
No.
Cool. So it looks like somebody was abseiling down. There were, those sorts of marks, and also it looks like somebody stabbed the chimney 3 times with a knife. They were like dents.
How many people are missing or dead? Do we know? Is it 3?
The watchman didn't explicitly say, but it sounds like several, like more than 5.
Okay,
Well,
so
definitely
not
at
3.
least 1.
Well, yeah.
Has anybody else been found dead though, or are they just missing?
Watchman didn't
Not that
mention
we're aware
it,
of at the moment, I don't think.
This seems to be the first body they've found.
Okay.
So maybe you interrupted something last night. Why is this body turned up?
Well, she was pretty dead by the time I got to her.
They've killed lots of or disappeared other people, but they've always gotten rid of the bodies. Assuming it's the same person, the same thing. Why did this body stay?
Who knows?
Maybe you spooked him.
I mean,
Maybe they didn't mean to kill her. Maybe there was something going on the
possibly.
roof.
Yeah, maybe the rest of them are still alive. Just
I mean, I hate
kidnapped.
to suggest this, but Scamp, do people go missing in the city a lot?
You've lived here for a long time, and sometimes people go missing, but not usually like a rash of people in a short period of time.
Not as many.
And
Mostly they
I was
run
just
away to
thinking
sea. It's not missing.
Just thinking, you do have the slave house here.
Yeah, but if someone's missing and it's taken by them, you go there and you go, oh look, there they are.
Yeah, true.
It's not really missing,
It's the
it's
first place
just...
anyone would look. Also, I doubt they'd be taking them from this town and putting them there. They probably came from elsewhere. That would seem sensible. But I don't know.
I need a new disguise.
You do. Maybe in town we can find you some gear. Speaking
I hate
of
to
which, I
suggest this.
do have business. What were you going to suggest?
Well, the only other people who were around there at that time last night were the 4 men that accosted me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they might have been involved. They might just have been the only other potential witnesses. Where else would they be?
I don't know.
Or I turn to Scamp because Scamp, I'm not suggesting you come with me because that would probably be not great. But where would you expect those men to be hanging out?
Scamp, yeah. At this time of day, most likely they'd be working. Like if they're actual dockers, they probably have a job working. At the docks, moving things into and out of warehouses.
So they might work for the Rope Makers Guild, I suppose, if they were his men.
Not sure you should be seen there.
Well, I
No,
don't...
probably
as
not
long
a good
as I'm
idea.
not a dwarf, I'm kind of alright.
They still looking for a dwarf. They don't know that you're not a dwarf.
They were looking for a dwarf this morning.
Fair enough.
I'm very persuasive.
One guy, no idea if it would be the same people, but there was a guy who asked us some questions, tried to follow us.
Alright.
Right, so...
I think we better go and see if we can find some of these dark hands.
Mm.
Do you by coincidence, you are about a street away from... you are around about a street away from Hikari Saito's office. So if you want to, you could start there first.
Yeah,
let's go
do
there
that.
first.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest that I wandered off and did that while they went to the docks, but if it's nearby...
No, if you want to split the party, I'm happy for you to do that on your own first.
I do have business near here, so if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to do that. You're very welcome to join, or I'll go on my own. Up to you.
Well, seeing as we're all going in the same direction anyway.
Yeah, Scamp, could you take us to that address?
Yes! I've been out all morning and no one threw a rock yet.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm a good
it's-
influence
You can never
like
split the
that.
party.
I'm going to say there were a couple of people you saw pick up rocks and seem to notice Celestia and maybe shove them behind their back.
Nobody's going to throw rocks at you while you're with me, darling.
Cool.
Yeah, it's all been odd looks and sometimes slightly hidden hostility rather than active rock throwing.
But then they bleed from the ears.
So the it's a quick trip to the office. The building itself is like most of the buildings in town. It's made of just ordinary brick, but you can see that the owner has clearly gone to some effort to have a white stone facade put on the front of this building. It's not. There is not a shop sign, as it were, so much, but there is a small brass plaque by the door saying H Saito written on it. It seems to be the case that if you were going to do business with them, you would presumably already know who they were.
I don't like this place already.
It's okay, hang back. I can do the talking. So I go in.
Okay, well, you go to the door and knock on the knocker.
Sorry, yeah.
And after a short wait, a dwarf opens the door. A female dwarf, you'd say, judging from just like shape of her face. She has a number of small rings and little silver jeweled studs set into her beard, which is actually curled. You would guess probably by the application of rollers overnight.
That's so cool.
Her hair is quite short cut and meticulously styled, and she's wearing a black and grey uniform. Kind of, you'd say that she's probably a valet or major domo. She looks up. Yes, can I help you?
Yes, I'm looking to inquire about some slaves.
Do you have an appointment?
I don't, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm afraid that Mistress Saito primarily sees people by appointments unless you have prior relationships with her.
How much would it cost me to get an appointment sort of immediately?
Make a persuasion check.
Ballsy.
That'd be good. Ah, shit balls. That is a 15, actually. So not... Oh no, 13. I can't do maths, ignore me, sorry.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that for consideration in the region of 10 gold crowns,
sure.
We can. You hand over what to the others is, frankly, a very impressive amount of
more
money.
money than I have.
Yep. She goes,
Yeah.
well, you just wait here 5 minutes. Actually, you know what? Come in. She glances at the two behind. Are they yours?
Yeah, they're friends of mine. Is it all right?
I'm her
Yes, yes, come in,
bodyguard.
come in. kind of gives you a look.
I pat her on the head.
Right, why don't you take a seat in the little waiting room, and I'll free up some space in Mr. Saito's schedule. You're actually left waiting for about 15 minutes, but the Major Domo does return with 3 cups of tea, black with honey.
Oh, lovely.
For each of you. And after...
Corzin leans over and whispers to Scamp. A word to the wise. Bodyguards are generally armed.
Oh. Oh well.
Scamp not even slightly armed. That's amazing.
I've got a dagger somewhere.
Literally, I just shoved down the side of your pants.
Yeah. It's in here somewhere.
After about 15-20 minutes, the Major Domo returns and says, "Oh, Mistress Saito will see you. Words of warning, don't waste her time. She's in a bit of a foul mood." As the Major Domo opens the door, you see a very small figure emerge, about Corzin's height.
Ooh.
They are a dragonborn.
Very small.
Yes,
dragonborn.
they are blue scaled with little yellow eyes, and there's something slightly drooping about their longer top sort of scales, akin to hair. And their eyes are quite big, and they are wearing a bright blue and yellow dress with a little bow, and and they kind of look up, blinking with some surprise at you, Celestia, and then again at the halfling and the tiefling, and says, "Who are these people?" And the Major Domo goes, "Hero, they're just here to see your mother." "Oh, okay. Hello." Gives a little wave and sort of wanders, and she sort of wanders off elsewhere in the house.
Corzin sort of scratches his head like,
the Major Domo leads you into a room into a much more very nicely appointed room, which is kind of an office. There's a big varnished oak table there with desk drawers and a green-backed leather armchair behind. There's some kind of nice but not quite as luxurious chairs perched in front of the table, and you can see sat in the leather armchair with their back to sort of gauzy curtains over the windows. There is a much larger, about 6'2", dragonborn with a much deeper blue to their scales. There is kind of a canny look to the yellow eyes, and they are wearing what appears to be it's essentially a blue and white. I want to say patterned. And when I say patterned, I kind of want you to think of, those classic sort of Ming Dynasty vases, or Wedgwood pottery. It's sort of done out like that. What is essentially a kimono, but kind of cut a little differently to accommodate the larger size, and it has the look of kind of being like it's sleeveless, and you can tell that the dragonborn behind it has, frankly, quite hench arms for size. Though, you've not seen that. I mean, most of you, 2 of you haven't seen very many dragonborns. So you don't know if this is normal. Corzin, you can tell she works out. And she's kind of puts down a pen and a ledger. Yes. What can I do for you?
Hikari Sato, I assume?
Hikari Saito.
Hikari Sato. Do excuse me.
And yourself?
Celestia Stardust, lovely to meet you. So, I'm looking for potentially a slave or two, but I'm looking for the more sort of bespoke type, trained in tutoring, music, languages, that sort of thing. And I hear the Rothanol slaves are particularly good for that sort of thing. You wouldn't happen to have any Rothanol branded slaves, would you?
Make a persuasion check.
Fucking shit. I'm not in sunlight, so it's okay.
Yeah, you're not in sunlight.
I think. Also, I'm not sure it affects persuasion.
It wouldn't affect persuasion, just sort of
God,
sensory-based skills.
Okay, so that is a 20 non-natural.
Okay, just gonna let's see other. While I might be able to help you, I'm afraid that I largely deal in bulk transport and arrangements. While I can certainly put in some inquiries, but I'm afraid that you are just a little too late. I had a large consignment of slaves from the Rothanol family brought in, but they are all spoken for. They left. She peers down at her ledger, flipping a couple of pages. Yes, I'm afraid they left earlier this week, and they already have a buyer. But if you like, if you'd like to write down a forwarding address, I can certainly make sure to arrange from the next batch someone sent forward.
Ah, that would be great. I give her the address of the tavern that we're staying at. I don't know.
Raises an eyebrow at it, but nods. She seems like she's
a temporary
not
residence, of course, but it's a flying
course.
visit. Do you happen to know where any other Rothanol slaves may have been shipped off? I have a sort of vested interest. I'm really into bespoke sort of thing. You know?
I'm afraid that's confidential information. My clients do prefer their privacy, and I'm afraid I could not provide you that sort of information.
I quite understand. Just curious.
Quite all right. Is there anything else I can help you with? I will, of course, be sure to send a message once I have something coming in, but I'm afraid I'm not expecting the next Rothanol shipment in for at least another month. I could look into some others if you'd like. I do have connections with the Caerdonals, the Yeldrins.
Out of character for a second, do I know?
Yeah, you recognise them. Like you've heard of them. They're like other prominent families.
I think I'm alright from there. Just please do send word if you get any more Rothanol slaves for me. And I may or may not be here in a month, so if I'm not here, I do apologise for wasting your time.
If you leave a forwarding address with the Bosun's Arms, I'm sure I can have something sent. Otherwise, I hope you do appreciate that I simply cannot betray my client's confidentiality.
Of course, I wouldn't expect you to. As I say, just curiosity. Lovely doing business with you. Have a nice day. Lovely to meet you.
And yourself.
Hope to do business again.
She kind of gives you a curt nod of dismissal and returns to her work.
Mm-hmm. It's fine.
I leave.
Yeah.
I follow.
I will follow too after a moment of not paying attention.
I hope so.
Sort of just staring around.
We're leaving you in the slave house.
Oh shit, right, we're going.
After we get a ways outside, I said, "You deal much in live cargo, then?"
No.
Who are you looking for?
Someone quite close. But,
Friend of yours?
you could say that. But it doesn't look like she's here. Scamp, do you know anything about when that slave house shuts and any other information about it?
Make an investigation check.
Would I know where the ships go from as well?
You would, yeah.
Bloody hell.
They'd kind of go from this,
Ooh.
well, just generally the harbour.
Investigation, that rolled for so long, but it did finally settle. Investigation, that is a non-natural 20.
You do remember actually a slave ship leaving, but unfortunately you can't remember what they. You can't remember. You don't know where it was headed. You think it had. No, it definitely left from the docks. You remember it happening, but you can't remember the name. You don't know where it was going, but you know that one did leave the day before. It's about 4 days ago. The day before the Charlie's regret happened to come into town. You didn't ships come and go. You didn't put too much attention on it when it happened. You would expect though with a house like this one, this kind of has the look of somewhere that would be. You get the feeling she lives above the shop, so to speak. So while it probably closes a little bit before, probably an hour before sundown, most places might that aren't, that do clerical type business as opposed to being open all hours for trade. She probably does just live there. It certainly would explain the presence of her child.
We could ask at the docks, try and get the name of the ship and where it went.
That's not a bad
If
idea.
it left recently, someone might know.
She said yesterday, didn't she? So it looks like we've just missed them.
The dock hands would have
that would
helped.
be great.
Someone would be...
You might be able to find out where they're going.
Yeah, that would be a good start. Yes, let's go to the docks.
Okay. You make your way on towards the docks, moving quickly. By this time, it's getting to start. We're sort of you've kind of been moving around a fair bit of the day, so it's around noon, getting a bit early into early afternoon by this sort of time. So the docks, as ever, are a hive of activity, especially during this time. There's a slightly annoyed air to people. You get the feeling that the magistrate putting a hold on people leaving, on ships leaving town, is really cramping people's business in various ways. But there's still work continues on. Where would you like to ask about things?
Does Scamp know which bit of the docks the ship would have gone from?
Just one of the main piers. You're easily able to remember which one. It's just
okay. Who is there? A dockmaster?
There is a harbour master, and it's not too far from the harbour master's office. So if you wish to head there, you are able to. You can actually find the harbour mistress, who you've seen before, Corzin, is just in passing upon arrival, is actually out on the docks and is presently seems to be issuing orders to various dock hands. It's a human woman, late 20s, black hair, done up in a ponytail, as is the fashion in these parts. It does actually have a kind of like half a Glasgow smile, which is one thing you remember. There's a scar coming off the edge of between her lips, where clearly someone has attempted to slice her face open at some point in the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would I know what her name is?
You remember that her name? Yeah, Harbour Mistress Anchorage.
Okay.
When did this ship sail? Sorry, I forgot to write.
About 4 days ago, so it would have... Actually, no, 5 days ago now.
Okay.
Can you say yesterday?
I've just realised I wrote something down that I knew before here about a slave ship that hasn't sailed.
Yeah. No, it would have been on the 3rd.
Oh, okay, so 5 days ago. Sorry, I've written that down as yesterday.
That one had sailed. That was the one that sailed.
Okay, I must have written it down wrong. I must have written hasn't sailed.
So is that the same one that we're talking about?
Yeah, that would seem to be.
Okay, cool. So it sailed 5 days ago from this particular dock.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know why I wrote it down as yesterday. I just got that completely wrong. So yeah, I'm going to go up to the harbour mistress.
She seems to be. I'm going to say make cause it. Make an insight check whilst you're doing this.
Insight check. That's a 15.
Okay. As you are making your way up, you happen to notice in amongst the group of dockers working nearby the harbour mistress, no longer with his signature weapon, is the docker with the bill who had the billhook last night. Actually, no. Sorry, he does have the billhook. He is using it to move cargo.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of stuck on the end of the pole. And he's just using it to lift crates. But yeah, you approach the harbour mistress, who kind of looks over them. Aye, what can I do? How can I help you?
I was just wondering about. I have some business with a slave ship.
Get on with it, aye.
There was a slave ship that left 5 days ago. What is it called and where is it going? And how much will this information cost me?
Okay, I'm sorry, but for a moment there I could have sworn you were trying to bribe a member of the local town establishment. I was wrong about that, right?
Of course.
Thank you. As it happens, I could possibly try and find that information for you, but right now I'm afraid I'm a little bit busy.
Of course. When would be a good time?
Oh, I don't know, when they've caught the bloody murderer. That's what I am. I'm sorry, but right now I am busy trying to juggle all of the banked up cargo, all of the complaints from various captains who wants to get their ships off as soon as possible. Not to mention the local businesses, and of course the watch. So come back to me when someone has caught whoever is doing all the bloody murders, and then I will be very happy to help you.
There have been people murdered.
Yes. They found a girl in the alleyway wee hours this morning, and they just now found someone on the other side of town.
Really? How dreadful.
That's too.
Who were they? Do you know? Were they local?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the girl was. She was on the she was on the good ship Mary. She come into town. Seen her before by the name of Layla, but unfortunately, she was out of town. But I did know the other fellow. By sight, wasn't one of my mates. But if you want the person to talk to. Would be Brandon, and she nods off towards Billhook, who was one of his mates. He ended up. They found him in the back of an alleyway. Would have thought were it not for all of the other disappearances going on, I'd have put it down to him getting into some sort of trouble. Often was one to get into fights, but
you don't say.
But being as things are now, no. Like I said, Brandon's the one to talk to about that.
I think I might just do that.
Right.
Well, terrible business. Sorry to hear about it. I'll come back.
Yeah, you do that. But no, not over there. Come over here and I'll tell you. And she sort of storms off.
Right. I'm going to go up to Brandon and sort of tap him on the shoulder with my own club.
So how can you reach?
Looks round and kind of immediately drops the case he's carrying with the hook to the great consternation of another of the dockers, and goes, "Oh, bloody hell, it's you!"
Go easy. I'm not here for any trouble. But I heard that something unfortunate befell one of your companions last night.
He kind of looks down at you. You. It wasn't you, right?
No, it wasn't me.
Okay.
And thank you for believing me when I say that. But the point is, you know there has been other people who've gone missing, and until whoever it is has been caught, none of us are getting out of here. So, it's in each other's best interest to help each other, right?
Right. Look,
So what happened after we had our little discussion last night?
well, me and me and Wendy, we went off to we went looking for that for that dwarf. We split up our own way. We left Kevin, Regent, bless his soul, watching the pub where we found you. There's Potion's Arms. Haven't seen Mary. She went her own way home, but I think she's all right. Haven't seen her at work, but I can't dwell on that. But Kevin met up with Wendy this morning. Said he just got word that the dwarf had headed out east, out of town, and he was making his way out to check the east gate. And Wendy went to meet up with him there, and he never came through. And then she went to find him, and that's when she found him.
Right. So he was killed early this morning?
From the look of it, either he was taking a piss when it happened, or I think she reckons he went into an alleyway to take a quick leak, and then it happened. Looks like she said it looked like someone had broken his neck.
Oh, for certain it's murder then. Yeah.
Yeah. And not just that, though. They must have left the body in a hurry, because after they looked like they'd cut him up as well.
Ooh.
Cut him up?
Yeah, just like took gouges out of his flesh, like they weren't happy just killing him. Like maybe they.
I said a monster was
either-
eating people.
Either they were just stabbing him for fun, or maybe they stabbed him first and then broke his neck. I don't know, but she had to take the day off work. But yeah, we're not in a good state.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say, you if it's definitely murder, then it must have been a very powerful person who could just break a man's neck like that.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It could have caught them by surprise. Could have been a couple of people. No, there weren't any witnesses.
Well, I'll take it as a compliment that you thought it could have been me. Look at me, and I just sort of gesture at my height or lack thereof.
But no, I saw you break that cup.
I sort of nod knowingly and give him a wink. So, you know what they say about good things?
They come to those who wait.
No, the other thing they say about good things.
No, I don't.
They come in
What do they
threes.
say?
No,
He
that's
swallows.
That's not what I meant either, but we'll go
Carl
with
looks
that.
at the three of you. Okay, look, if it's all the same with you, I can tell you where they found him, but they've moved the body.
Yeah.
That'd probably be useful, actually.
Okay.
Where exactly were they found?
He gives you a description, which of an alley that you don't really recognise, but which you, Scamp, do.
Yep. I know where that is.
Okay. So, as you're making your way through, I assume that Scamp is kind of leading the way, with and Celestia, are you
Celestia's unusually trailing along at the back.
Yeah,
actually.
you're trailing along at the back.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Trailing along the back, fiddling with her bracelet, being a bit.
Yeah, you're in the middle.
Pissy.
Right.
Okay, so as they're kind of making their way, you're kind of making your way through the press of people, and I'm going to ask: are you? Like you know a lot of the shortcuts through town. Through town scamps, you're easily able to navigate through some of the back streets, get a much more stable sort of route. As you're doing so, you kind of notice, you look you're moving through one street where there's actually a cart. It looks to be from an orchard. It looks to be kind of doing the last harvest from an orchard, based on the fact that it's literally just essentially a wheelbarrow piled up with apples, some of which are looking a bit more intact than others. But there's a market for them, and maybe the dockers will be planning to buy a few. But and you can see that there's this kind of slightly old-looking horse that's just like a workhorse that's pulling the cart. But as you're making your way towards it, something in there is a moment where you just hear a crack, something like you don't know where it's coming from. As you look, the horse is just startled and attempts to bolt, but the wagon is kind of holding it down. And so the whole thing tips onto its side, and apples just start rolling down through the street. I'm going to ask Celestia, Scamp, all of you. Can you just make a dexterity save to try?
Okay.
Literally, just try and avoid getting caught up on apples.
14.
That
9.
is. Did you say Dex?
Yep.
So that's a 20, non-natural.
Okay. Yeah. Celestia, you kind of expertly step to the
tumble
side,
out
do
the
a
way.
little tumble, grab an apple as you go. Scamp, you avoid the getting knocked over by apples, causing you kind of pushed back a bit and hit to the ground by the apple swathe.
These things are like roughly the size of grapefruit.
Yeah.
They're so tiny. They're like a full meal for you.
And as you're kind of still busy struggling to get to your feet, you've kind of been knocked behind the other two. You can see the owner of the apple cart is kind of waving his hands at the pair of you, Scamp, Celestia, and he's kind of pointing around. Did you hear that? Did you see that?
I didn't see anything, I'm afraid. I did hear it. There was a crack.
That was a gunshot. I don't know what's happening. And as the pair of you are kind of looking as all of your eyes are looking forwards, causing there's just a moment of shadow above you when something drops down and you feel a noose slip around your neck and tighten, and something drags you up into the air.
Do we see this?
And as you look up, you can just see a crouched figure standing on the rooftop above. Standing on the rooftop above, holding like a 20-foot long noose. You can't make out much of it. They look like they're wearing a maroon jacket and trousers of a watchman, and you can just hear from the silhouette above. You can't see its features. The sun in the way. Trixie, little meat, stopping me with all your feet, but soon enough the time will be done, and I shall have you in my tum.
Shit, it is a monster eating people.
And that is where I'm going to end it for tonight.
Oh, no.
Thank you for playing.
Oh, yes.
Next time
Yeah.
to figure out exactly what is going to happen from there.
Excellent.
Thank you all very much, and have a good night. Thank you for listening to Flintlocks and Fireballs. Remember to like, rate, subscribe and share so we can spread this madness as far as it will go. Farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs, fair seas and natural 20s. In Scarrel's Cove our tale begins of silver beards and stolen rings. 3 souls will find a destined deck, but watch your back and watch your neck.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.